Hey there, you're listening to You Still Going On About That with Rob Israel and Joseph K. You can find us anywhere you could download podcasts. You could also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at YSGOAT. Thanks for listening. I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
You still going on about
that?
All right.
Yeah.
It is April 26th. Do you know what today is?
No, aside from April.
Alien Day.
Oh, is this the day
LV426 Alien Day?
Oh, okay.
They discovered the aliens in the first movie. And
nice.
It's an important holiday. For people who like their aliens to look like kind of phallic.
Yeah.
Like HR guy. You ever I remember seeing, like, as a kid, I didn't know who made the HR, like, who designed the aliens.
Yeah.
And I remember this kid in school in our class brought in the H.R. Geiger hardcover book.
Yep, I remember that.
Like, coolest kid in the world that day. And he showed it. And I just remember him like, oh, he's the guy who made the aliens. And I'm looking at the paintings. I'm like, oh, they're dicks.
Right.
I'm like, I don't remember that part of the design being in the movie. The belt.
Yeah. I remember we had a kid that had the H.R. Geiger hardcover, and obviously the alien prototypes were the big draw. And there's like that Emerson, Lake and Palmer album cover, The Brain Salad Surgery. Do you remember that one?
Is that the woman's face?
Yeah, that's Geiger.
That's another famous one. That was like on the cover of the book.
Yes. And I too remember flipping through it and thinking like, wow, there's a lot of cock in this book. There's just like
a lot of cock. I don't remember that being in the Aliens movie.
I don't either. I don't remember that being a prominent feature, but
man, I mean, you could say they were kind of phallic to begin with, but that. So yeah, that's today. Anybody who's having any severe chest pains, it's
right.
Not a heart attack or a panic attack or anything like that. You're about to have a alien burst through your chest
burster. Yes. That was the first R-rated movie I ever saw. I was in 5th grade. My grandfather took me to see it. My grandfather's he took me to a ton of like sci-fi movies. He gave me a ton of like old sci-fi books and everything. Anyway, he took me to this movie, and I waited in the lobby for like the majority of the film because I was too scared to go back in.
You were 43 years old.
I was in 5th grade. He told me afterwards, he was a man of few words. He said, if he ever wants to see a movie alone, he'll take me.
I saw, that's funny. Yeah. I saw Aliens when I was 8 years old. Aliens sequel.
Okay, yeah.
That's what happens when you're the youngest family. You just go to the R-rated movies with your teenager brother and sister in the family.
I guess so, yeah.
And that's cool with me. I didn't care. Got to see some awesome movies when I was young. Got to see Coming to America when I was 10 in the theater. That was great. So Aliens. No one in my family warned me about the chest. I didn't know anything about it. I knew what they looked like. But like I didn't know anything about the chest burster scene or anything like that. So like in the first one, that's like the famous scene with John Hurd when he's like, he falls on the table. Like he had the thing on his face, and they were able to take it off. They didn't know what was going on. And later on, they're having like dinner.
Yeah,
and he starts freaking out. He's on the table when it breaks out, blood everywhere, and it's like, what the fuck is this? Like it has been pretty insane to watch that. Back in 1980 when it came out.
I'd never even heard of anything like that. Like that would be a thing.
Yeah, and then they did it in Spaceballs, and it even got John Hurd to come back and do it.
Yeah,
oh no, not again. And that's the part with my favorite. The guy's telling the joke and they're all laughing.
Yeah.
Wait, what did he say? It was a tree. Because of the bark, you dummy. Because of the bark.
Yeah, that was great.
I love that. It's gone to Pluto. So we saw Aliens. I never saw Alien 1. Cameron. That's the James Cameron one. And no offense to Alien, but Aliens is a much better movie.
Oh, they're two different movies, but Aliens was amazing. I mean,
Aliens is incredible. I have to like rewatch that. But I again didn't know anything about the chest burst scene. So you finally get like all the Marines, and they all get to the planet, and you see someone on the like kind of glued to the wall.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because in Alien, it was cut out. It's before she fights the alien at the end of the movie, Sigourney Weaver. She finds was it Garrett or what's his name? The guy in the main guy in the movie.
Dallas.
Yeah, I forgot the actor who plays him. Is
Oh yeah,
Tom Skerritt or something?
I think it is Tom Skerritt. Yeah,
he's like sealed to the wall, and he's still alive. And I think that's in the cut scene. It's not in the because like I guess in the main edit he was dead. He's just dead. Like it was just. But you see a survivor or whatever, someone from there, and she's like just wakes up. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the alien bursts out of her. And I was like, ah! Like, what the fuck? No one warned me. No, my parents I know saw Alien. I'm pretty sure the first one. They didn't fucking warn me. I thought it was fine. Not like I had any nightmares of it, but I was just more like fascinated by it. I was like, whoa, that's crazy.
That type of like body
but I did
horror.
not expect that.
Yeah, that borders on like body horror, and that's a real distinct type of horror.
I was like, is there a way to survive that?
No, it's like a catastrophic failure of like every organ in your body, like all at once. So it's like,
did you see the my favorite, even though it's not a good movie, Alien 4?
I saw all of them. So
okay,
I'm
Alien
sure I saw.
4 is the Joss Whedon one.
It's
okay. It's like it's kind of gets silly. And the fact that it even exists, she comes back, she's a clone and everything.
Yeah.
There's a really cool scene though in the beginning though, where you find out like there's people who are cargo, and the cargo are people that have they've been frozen and to be opened later, thawed later, so that they can get the aliens out of them.
Yeah.
And the guy, like, they're getting attacked by something. So the guy, like, as he's about to go crazy, I don't know, all of a sudden he has like super strength for like 2 seconds, still adrenaline, and he shoves like somebody against his chest, so the alien bursts. But there's an awesome scene where he's screaming, and the mouth open, and the camera goes down all into his esophagus, and you see like the baby alien, like, like it was such a cool shot.
I don't remember that.
And then that ending, though, I just remember that the human alien, they're so gross. It was like a weird hug.
Oh
alien.
God, yeah.
I did not like that.
Yeah. Well, I heard they're making a new one.
They just announced that today too, I guess on Alien Day, with those spider vaginas that that's what they were basically.
Well, so yes, it is Alien Day.
Sorry, they're called face huggers. Not spider vaginas.
Oh yeah.
The version.
We do actually have a full slate of stuff to.
Oh yeah, what are we talking about today, Joseph?
We're talking about the Flash trailer, the new Flash trailer. Talk a little bit about Picard. We've watched the entire series. I've watched most of it.
The season 3 of Picard.
Season 3.
Actually, the only season I saw.
No, I saw
the other seasons.
I watched season 1 and 2, and season 1 started with like.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah. We're talking about Tucker Carlson getting canned, which is hilarious.
Oh, no, he left on his own accord.
That's what
the right wingers on Twitter said.
Of course. And we're talking about Meatball Ron. The Ron bot had a little malfunction over there.
That was really funny.
In the land of the rising sun. And then Disney sued him, which is even funnier.
Yep.
And then we're talking about it looks like I smushed all these together. We're talking about Joe Biden announced his re-election bid.
Yep.
Which is I think that's good news, but we can talk about that. We're talking about Trump's defamation trial, which from all accounts is going poorly for him. We're going to be talking about an elected official, Zooey Zephyr. I think it's Zoe. Yeah, I don't know if it's sometimes people pronounce it Zooey. I think it's Zoe. I think it's Zoe. I do too. That's such a bullshit story. I don't even know.
Well, we'll talk about that. It's basically she's a trans person, and she's basically being like silenced, and this is kind of similar to what happened in Tennessee with the similar, same but different recipe. Same Republicans overreach of power, and it's like, why are they specifically targeting this person? And we'll talk about that. It's pretty fucked up.
And then we got two kind of funny stories at the end because we have some I guess a lot of serious ones. But anyway, we're talking about this right-wing beer company.
Yeah, we talked about that with the whole Bud Light thing.
Yeah. And then we're talking about this guy. His real name is like Paul Averdon, Nicholas Averdon. And he went by an alias of Nicholas Rossi, and now he goes by Arthur Knight. I guess he's been living in Scotland or Ireland or something. And he had this clip on that made its round on Twitter, and it's really fun. It'd be a good way to end the show. So that's what we got. What do you want to talk about the Flash? You want to talk about the Flash or Picard first?
Let's talk about Flash. It was just a trailer. So we got the final trailer for Flashpoint. It's a movie that's been in the works since 2014.
Mm-hmm.
They announced it's like the craziest thing. What's his face? Ezra Miller, who had some. I feel like they must have him like in a sealed vault for like the past year. I feel like it's been like a year. You haven't really heard about him. I remember like last year, you hear all these horrible stories, like he like kidnapped some girls supposedly, all kinds of weird shit. And then they were like, WB's like, no, we're not refilming the movie.
Right.
In there, we're not gonna recast him. This is it. And we haven't heard from him. So either he has an amazing publicist or they have him like on an island somewhere, like locked away on an island. And he's in the what's that show? The Prisoner or whatever.
Oh yeah. It's on the island.
Yeah.
I'll be seeing you.
Yeah, it was like I remember all the Simpsons would parody that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean the trailer looks sick.
Looks amazing.
Yeah, it looks really good. I like the Supergirl. She looks great. I like seeing Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton said the line.
Yep.
I thought it was a little weird because it's so funny. It's like he just says it one time as Bruce Wayne to the Joker in Batman. There's a scene where he's with like Vicky Vale or something, and all of a sudden, and he's in his civilian clothes, right? He's with Vicky Vale, and the Joker shows up, and he has his face paint, so the Joker's not full out. He had that where he would have like normal skin tone over his white face.
Yes, yeah.
Which I found even creepier, actually.
Oh, much.
Like because of the smile under it, it just made it even more like freakish. Like there was something like with the white, it's like, oh, okay, you're like a weird cartoon. But when he would have like a more typical
natural skin,
it looked like, oh, you got like you have some severe deformity.
Right. You're trying to trick me. You're trying to...
So there's like that scene when he's trying to like out crazy the Joker, and he like takes like a crowbar, smashes something, and he goes, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. And like I don't know, the Joker like shoots him or something, says like never rub a man on the rhubarb or something. Some great lines in that movie. But he never says that line ever again. He never says it like in the sequel. No, he's only in 2 Batman movies. He was supposed to be in that Batgirl movie, but they didn't release it. He's in this, and there's a scene where they're like, they're getting ready to battle, and they just show Michael Keaton, and he's like, "Let's get nuts."
Yeah, I
was like, I'm fine with that. I just thought,
that was great. I had to Google that because I wondered. I was like, is that like because I remember it from the first movie, but I was
it's from the first movie. He's not even Batman when he says it. Yeah, but I guess he's technically not even Batman when he says it too, because he's not wearing the cowl,
True.
Still Bruce Wayne.
Well, this movie looks amazing. I'm sure it's going to be really good. I'm
curious though. There's a bunch of spoiler rumors. I don't know. There's one, if you don't mind me telling you.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's happening in this movie except for when I saw in the trailers. But the movie spoilers, anyone's listening, possible spoilers to the Flashpoint. In the Flashpoint comic, see, it follows the same structure. I don't think it'll be as complicated because there was a huge event. There's like a big war between Aquaman and Atlantis and the Wonder Woman and the Amazonians. I doubt that's going to be in the movie. I think that would be like too complicated and budget wise and timing. You got to focus on just a couple of characters. So In the comic, though, the Flash, it's kind of fun. If you saw the trailer, like he's like trying to bring back his mom or something, and by doing so, he fucks up the universe. And in the
Right.
comic, that's kind of what happens. Barry Allen finds out his mother died and was killed by like the Reverse Flash in the past, and he goes back in time. By doing so, he fucked up time, and they used that as a way to bring in the New 52. New 52 was like a storyline change. It was basically like a restart on the DC universe, and they used Flashpoint as that. And supposedly, that's what they're doing with this movie. This movie is going to change everything. That it allows James Gunn come in and be like, oh, we recasted Hawkman. We recast it because this is a different universe.
Well, this is what allows him to bring in Michael Cera as Superman.
Yeah. No, that's you got that wrong. That's the Wes Anderson version of
all right. Yeah. No. Different universe.
Yeah, that's the Wes Anderson. Which that's funny. I don't think Wes Anderson's ever worked with Michael Cera.
Yeah.
I feel like they should. Do you think like Wes Anderson's like they're like, hey, you gonna have Michael Cera in your movie next? And he's like, nah, it's like too on the nose.
It's too, yeah.
It's too. I don't want to. I can't. Wes Anderson.
It's too twee.
I don't want to jump. I don't want to jump the whatever would be in a Wes Anderson movie instead of
right. Jump the show. That's like a hat on a hat.
Yeah. So one of the plots is when he goes to this alternate universe, when he kind of screws everything up, he finds one he doesn't like have powers or whatever, and he runs into a Batman. But Batman is the different Batman. It's Thomas Wayne.
That's right. Yep. We talked about this. Yeah.
Bruce Wayne is the one that gets killed. Thomas Wayne is the Batman in this world, so he's even older. Now, I'm thinking Michael Keaton's playing Thomas Wayne.
That
Batman.
makes sense.
If it follows that timeline.
Mm-hmm.
If it's following where all the universes still take place at the same time, because Batman exists as because Ben Affleck's also going to be in this movie.
Yep,
So
yeah,
he's going to be in this, and it would be kind of cool if actually that he is playing Thomas Wayne, and he looks like he's supposed to look like what Bruce remembers his dad like as a kid, but him being older. That could be a cool scene. I'm wondering if they're going to do that. I wonder if the audience. I don't think you could explain it. I mean, we all know who Thomas Wayne is.
Yeah, the Batman origin story, like that's pretty familiar. People are pretty familiar with that, so I don't think that would be a difficult sell. And I don't know. I saw a new TV ad today for the movie too that looked great, and it had a little more Ben Affleck in it. I think it was just kind of like remixed from the trailer, but
you didn't hear any of that, right?
No, you're good.
I was I don't know. I was urinating. No, I was kidding. It's that scene with from Naked Gun when Leslie Nielsen's peeing and he has the mic attached. I remember watching that with my son. He laughed nonstop the entire time.
Right.
So yeah, I think the movie. Well, I was gonna say that could be a really cool twist. Spoilers. It's a possible spoiler. I could be wrong. I'm just saying I
think it'd be fun. Yeah.
They're following Flashpoint anyway. The Thomas Wayne and then here's another spoiler, which I doubt if they have Thomas Wayne be the Batman in this, I doubt they'll do this story because there were a bunch of miniseries that came out when the Flashpoint miniseries came out because one DC, they're gonna, that's the gimmick. It's like we want to make as much money as possible, so we're gonna put out like 8 little
right.
The main miniseries. And I bought the Batman one because I found that to be really cool. And in that universe, Batman's fighting the Joker. And the big spoiler for this, in the end, the big reveal, is that the Joker is Martha Wayne. She went insane. She went like the opposite direction.
Right.
He became more like cold and like vigilante, and she went just completely insane. Now it makes no sense. Like, why would she be the Joker? Like,
right. Yeah.
Like, why would she be that? It doesn't make it. But who cares? It doesn't matter. It's still cool. So that was like the big twist I remember in the end.
Yeah, that is cool. I like that.
It was only Bruce that died. It wasn't if the parents lived, but they both were fucked up from it in different ways. So the movie looks sick.
Yeah, it does.
I hope it's good. I know it's gonna be like so funny. Like I bet the movie, like let's see the movie's like really good. And you're gonna see all these people who like attacked, who like wanted to shit on Ezra Miller. Like there's a couple of problems I have with the whole Ezra Miller thing. One, I think there's something wrong with them.
Yeah, I
I'm
agree.
sorry, them. They are non-binary. It gets like complicated. I think they are like bi or whatever. So for years, this person has been kind of attacked for just being like LGBT.
Yeah, I think that's
And
true.
I remember like seeing people like calling in like, oh, why is he getting special attention? They're trying to pull this bullshit. Like, oh, they're getting because they're LGBT, so
Right.
they're allowed to like act up. And it's like that's such bullshit. Like I love when that we live in this world now where people think that like marginalized people have like special like they're getting, and it's like wait, let's be correct here. They are being whatever because they are a famous Hollywood star.
Yeah, this is more of a
you're not.
right.
And I
That's more of a
guarantee
class
you
thing.
that yes, exactly. I guarantee you if there was another non-binary, bisexual, whatever person that did the same thing as Ezra Miller, they would not be treated
right
the same.
Non-binaries in the county lockup aren't like living the high life,
What?
like they just non-binary people living in the county lockup aren't living the high life.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
it's like I just hate that. It's like, yeah, no, they are a Hollywood star.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I think they come from like a Hollywood family too. I think it's not just like
probably.
Yeah, usually it's like 90% of the case. Anytime there's like a new star. Oh, like I remember I saw like some actress and I found out she was like Elvis's granddaughter.
Yeah, it's always something. It's real
But
depressing.
actually, I thought that was great. I don't even know her name, but she doesn't go by Presley. And I think that was actually brilliant on her part.
Yeah.
She's the only living heir because her mom died recently.
That's right. Yeah.
But she's been in like, she gets to just act. Like she's not like a huge star. She's been in tons of things, but you wouldn't know she was a Presley. And I think that's actually probably the smartest move she could have done. Like the joke is she probably gets parts just because of her name behind the scenes.
Sure.
But it actually gives her less pressure because if you're watching the movie or TV show, you're not going like, oh, that's Elvis's granddaughter.
Right, right.
There's like no pressure. It's like you wouldn't know.
That's what Stephen King's son did. He went by Joe Hill, and for years, no one really kind of associated him with Stephen King.
But it's like, oh wait, but he still got published because he Stephen King's. No, I would imagine the stuff still has to be pretty decent.
I like Joe Hill's writing a whole bunch. He did.
Didn't he do something big recently?
Yeah, he did Heart-Shaped Box. Big one of his recently was he did Nosferatu, which kind of wasn't huge. He did that one with Dan, the Harry Potter kid, Horns, I think it was called. Was it called Horns?
Oh, I remember that. That movie was pretty decent.
Anyway, Joe Hill's a really good writer. He is his father's son. I mean, his writing is a lot like Stephen King's, but like, okay, that's fine. That's like
whatever, as long as it's good.
Yeah, I would legit have, like, of all people, and I generally tend to like be overly critical of like nepotist projects or whatever, but Joe Hill's legit. He's as good a writer as need be to be published.
I mean, it's like even like in the comic industry, it's the same thing. It's like so many people that some of the names, and you're like, oh, well, that's the granddaughter or the grandson, and it's like the grandfather was the big artist, the sons were the big artists. It's like the Kuberts. It's an example. The father, Joe Kubert, and then he has Andy and Adam Kubert, and they became big artists. One of them actually drew Flashpoint, I think.
Oh, cool.
Might have been Andy Kubert, and they're older now too. So their one of them, I don't know which one it is, maybe Adam Kubert's daughter is also. Oh,
jeez.
Yeah. I mean, you still have to be good.
Yeah, right.
It is a foot in the door. All right, back to Flashpoint real quick.
Yes.
So yeah, that I'm wondering though how many people who were like shitting on Ezra Miller for like a year. And like I said, I don't think it excuses fucking behavior. I mean, like, anything like that is criminal, they should face charges for it.
Sure. Yeah.
Like it's just
I don't know enough about it, but I do know
the judge is like, oh, Flashpoint was such a good movie, though.
right. I sentence you to a sequel.
To a franchise.
Exactly.
A sequel with cameos and guest starring.
What show is that where someone was sentenced to be a butler? Was that on Seinfeld?
Oh my god. Yeah, that was the plot. The show that Jerry and George make.
Yeah.
Jerry, I don't know if it's him or like someone sentenced to be their butler.
Yeah. Yeah, it would basically be that.
You to a franchise sequel.
Pound.
I mean,
Like,
I was gonna give you the full arm of the law.
right.
And that after credit scene really got me hooked. And I myself have to bend the law a little bit because I need to know what happens in the next movie.
Exactly.
When you had Captain Cold show up again and Gorilla Grodd.
Yeah. All right, well, that's cool.
What?
I hope that happens.
Yeah. How about this? Just try not being a psychopath.
Exactly. Fuck, man. Just like chill for 10 minutes.
I sentence you to lithium.
There was a month where like every fucking day it was a new story.
It was like a tornado. It was a Tasmanian devil.
It was all happening in Hawaii too. And someone on Twitter said he was basically Stitch. And that was like the funniest thing ever.
Yeah. He was Stitch.
It's basically Stitch. And that's what he's like, running around just causing all sorts of fucking mayhem. So oh well.
Except it wasn't funny and it was all
right. Except it involved assault. All right.
All right, cool. Well, speaking of, I don't know. Well, I was gonna lead to Picard.
Picard. Yeah, you finished Picard season 3.
I only watched season 3.
Okay, I watched.
Is on Paramount Plus. It just ended.
Yep.
Picard season 3. It's the last season too. It ends up being kind of like I think stars of Next Generation showed up a bit throughout the Picard series, right? Like,
but not a ton. Did
Riker ever show up?
Gosh, yes. And 7 of 9 showed up. Like you would have
7 of 9 was a cast member actually, and it was interesting because she was from a different show. She was from Voyager. She wasn't from Next Generation.
Well, the season 1 started out pretty good, and then it drifted for me. And season 2, excuse me, also didn't. It was good. It was like, look, it was good, but it's like when I'm like 5 or 6 episodes into season 3, and for the first time I'm like, why weren't they doing this all along? This is what everyone wanted to see. This is what people want to see.
I think the reason why is because I got into it. I want to see it because I heard that they were kind of just ignoring the other season. So I was like, I'll have to watch them. I mean, I would like to, but I feel like at this point I have no reason to watch them.
You did not need to see.
I've only heard like bad things about it, and they kind of ignore most of the previous seasons. Like they do acknowledge, I guess, Captain Picard's like not in his original body or some shit. Like,
that's a weird one, but yes.
They kind of like they have to mention it, but they kind of just avoid it in this season. And there's a couple other things.
Well, and they also talk the Borg is featured. Like there's a lot of like randomness about like the decommissioned Borg.
Yeah, they're like the Borg hasn't been seen in a decade, but wasn't the Borg the enemy of season 2?
Well, it was like not necessarily. Like they were kind of, I don't know what they were doing, like researching a Borg cube that was like no longer working or something.
Right.
So anyway, there's like some weirdness of it. Hey, but long story short, you're right. You can watch season 3 without really. And you can honestly watch season 3 without any prior knowledge of Star Trek at all.
Well, it'd be good to be familiar with Next Generation and its cast. Like,
it's a lot more rewarding that way.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not going to get into the plot or anything. You said you have 2 episodes left?
Yes. Yeah.
I figure we can just talk about it for a minute. I do like the that all the characters there, you
Yep.
kind of roll them out. Everybody kind of gets like their moment.
Yes. You would imagine if it were in a theater, that's when like people would cheer. Like
I feel like the only thing that might be confusing for anyone if they didn't see season 1 and 2 is that one lady who kind of works with Warfrex rescues her around like episode 2 or 3.
yeah, she's like an addict or something.
Yeah, but she's from the other seasons. They don't, so like
True.
It won't ruin the experience, but I feel like whatever her story was is from the first 2 seasons. And wasn't she like 7 to 9's wife at one point?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they just kind of completely ignored that.
Yeah.
They were just like, yeah.
I will have to say I love Star Trek. Like I'm not a huge like compared to the average person, I like Star Trek a whole bunch. Compared to like Trekkies or Trekkers or whatever they call themselves, I'm like a middle of the road Trek fan.
When
like,
I worked at this place called Rock Bottom, I had a manager.
Yeah.
And he said that he would eat dinner with his Star Trek Next Generation cardboard cutouts. And I thought that was the coolest thing I ever heard.
That is pretty cool.
No, it's kind of sad.
My brother, my middle brother, I mean, my youngest brother, he is a huge Star Trek Next Generation fan, specifically Next Generation. He's watched, like, he uses my Netflix account, and I will often like go to watch something, and it'll be like my "Do you want to pick up where you left off?" is like knee deep in a Star Trek The Next Generation rewatch binge, and he's like watched them different ways. He'll do like speed runs of The Next Generation where you only watch the myth episodes, like you watch the X-Files, the mythology episodes.
You avoid the bullshit episodes and you watch the ones where like the Cigarette Man.
Basically. Yes, exactly. And he has
Cigarette Man is in the X-Files episode, then you know that this is an important episode.
Right, exactly.
It's a lore episode, they call it usually.
Yeah, right. So he has like he has different ways to watch the series and stuff. So I'm not quite at that level, but I like Star Trek quite a bit.
Well, like I said, I think what I liked about this season is just they did a good job of bringing everybody back. They did a good job of like representing like where they were. It was a great reunion. They had something to do with each character. They gave everybody a really good role. They like, I thought the son was good. I've seen that guy in other stuff. He was in the show.
He was real good.
Yeah, he's not annoying or anything like that. He's a good character. I like that whole episode where, spoilers for this, there's like when he's talking about like, there's an episode that takes place a couple of years earlier, and it shows Picard eating like dinner by himself. And cadets start talking to him, and he basically says in the end, like, because like he never had a family or whatever, and he felt like he didn't need one because he had and then you see him at the bar, and he's like all sad.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
Picard, you jerk! Like Picard knew, he had no idea.
Well, yeah, I mean that was it's a great little story. And I've heard from my
Amanda
brother.
Plummer was good in it as the kind of generic. The Amanda Plummer.
Oh yeah, she's good. She's always good.
I was like, who is there? I'm like, she looks fucking familiar. I'm like, that voice. I'm like, that's not Rhea Perlman. I'm like, she's too away. Like she's too like.
From what I understand, my brother, and I don't mind spoilers. I don't want to talk a lot about it because I'm not like completely spoiled for the end of this. But my brother,
2 episodes. Don't worry.
My brother said that it ends with the possibility of a future series.
Not the Next Generation people.
Right. Yeah, like a path forward for a new show.
Well, like, I mean, if you don't mind, I'm not going to.
I'm assuming it's Jack because that's the only logical.
7 to 9. And
Geordie's kids and
yeah.
I mean, I'd watch that.
Yeah, and you could always have them show up, maybe like Geordie show up for like a little bit,
sure.
The sense of his daughters in it, it's just like a talking on the phone or something, or whatever. I don't know. It's good. It's not perfect, the show, but like I really liked it. I like that one guy. I like the captain of the ship, the one who
He is
kind of
an
reminds
interesting
me
character. Yeah.
he kind of reminds me of the brother from that actor who plays Raymond's brother, and Everyone Loves Raymond.
Oh yeah.
It's like kind of a similar cadence in his voice.
Yeah.
I've seen that guy in stuff before. He's usually pretty good in stuff.
Shaw, Captain Shaw.
What?
Captain Shaw on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a really funny part in like one of the early episodes when Picard and Riker are on the ship, and he brings up like, okay, so it's like really funny from like as an audience we're watching the show,
Right.
and we get to see the adventures of every week of these people, and the joke is that in a way they are like a fucking menace to the Federation. The guy brings it up. He's probably just like, listen, we're gonna go in, we're gonna fly in, we're gonna do some rudimentary like stuff, or maybe take some scientist samples and see if there's a new meet a new planet, try to get them into the Federation, whatever. There's no drama, there's no bullshit, there's no like run-ins with the fucking what is it? Not the Vulcans, the Romulans.
The Romulans, yeah.
Like that the way he just, I thought it was like really funny. It's like, yeah, it would be complete chaos if you had like constantly getting to fight with these different aliens. And it's really funny. He kind of brings it up like, yeah, you guys are like troublemakers.
Yeah, he was basically like, I remember that because Shaw is a great character. He's kind of a dick, but he's like not as much of a
nonsense. Like
he's grimy.
Yeah, he is grimy. He literally is grimy because he even brings up the whole the cutest thing, and it's like, you are the cutest. You cute people, and you got to come back and be respected. Look at me, I'm Picard. Because nothing ever bothers me.
But grimy, he really is.
That's so fun. That grimy episode is so good.
It's really great. Yeah,
look at me. I don't need to wear rubber gloves because I'm Homer Simpson. Then at the funeral, what was it? Homer's like sleeping, and then he's like says something in his sleep like he's hungry, and everyone laughs.
Yeah.
Such a good. Yeah, he literally is grimy. I mean, like,
it's true though. I mean, because he even says like, look, you're not going to find any surprises on the ship. There's no dust on the console. We work. This is our workplace. We go about our scientific business. We don't like create chaos. We just
we don't get to fucking constant attacks and fights with different civilizations all the time.
Yeah, we're not constantly fighting off alien parasites or viruses. It was a
very good meta episode.
Yeah.
Of like the whole joke being that like, no, this is uniquely you guys.
That's funny.
I thought that was very funny. It's like one of those like in Spaceballs when they're rewinding the tape and the whole conversation like, well, fast forward, we can't because this is now.
Right.
What? Because they were in the middle of the movie still.
That's funny. Yeah. Todd Stashwick played Grimy.
Yeah, grimy. No, his name was Shaw. His name was not Grimy, but he was grimy. I love that. You were the cutest. You killed tons of people. He's like telling this horrible story, like how his captain basically just randomly chose him to live because they could only like have like 8 people live on the ship or something, and he got one of them. And it's like,
that was crazy.
The whole entire ship is dead, and Picard was like, that was just one adventure from one episode, from 2 episodes from season 2.
Right.
Get over it. I got way more shit since that.
That was between commercial breaks 2 and 3.
Yeah, like yeah.
That all happened off screen.
Game when Scott Witch shows up and she's attacking Thanos, and she's like, "You took everything from me," and he's like, "I have no idea what you're talking about."
Right, I don't know who you are. Yeah. Well, anyway, this guy, the guy who played Shaw, he's only been in a few movies, but if you look at his television credits,
yeah, he's from I've seen him in something.
He's been in like 50 shows, like every show you like. Grey's Anatomy, Hawaii Five-0.
I
swore he was on.
He was
some
on
show. He played, like,
Gotham. He was on.
Yes, I remember him on Gotham now.
Mayans MC. He was on SWAT. He was on Men of a Certain Age with Ray Romano.
Oh, that was a good show.
I like that show a lot. He was on Heroes. He was 6 episodes on Heroes.
I remember him on Heroes because he has like a unique voice. It's like
he had a little arc on Curb Your Enthusiasm. He was on Kim Possible.
Enthusiasm.
He was 2 episodes. He played Sandy Goodman back in 2009.
Oh, I wouldn't even know. I would have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was great on that. Yeah, I liked it. I mean, you'll like the last 2 episodes. It's super, okay, so you saw the episode with like what's the Data? Is that his name? Data?
Yeah, yeah.
You saw the Data episode?
Yes.
When he's confronting his brother?
Lore.
Yeah. I like that whole like how he beats Lore by basically kind of like giving up but giving Lore like all his memories.
Yeah.
It like ends up overtaking Lore and they become like kind of one, but they're more Data, I guess, than they are Lore.
I think it's cool that they're named Data and Lore, like polar opposites.
Oh, that's kind of funny. I didn't think about that. Yeah. Because Lore was supposed to be, that was the thing. Lore was the like more human of the two, but he was like evil. Yeah.
Data was supposed to be like all head, no heart. And Lore was supposed to be all heart and no head,
but he had no heart either, really.
Right? Yeah. I mean, it backfired, but that was like the premise of that. Is like one was the Scarecrow and one was the Tin Man.
So, but I like that too because his whole experience is like, well, even though like I'm not human, but I made like all these friends. I had that cat. I love when the cat walks by. And like Lore was just such a self-involved asshole. He didn't make any friends or like have any. That Data was able to kind of just like overtake him, and I like what they did with him because he is older. So I like more that he gets to look more human now. Like instead of like trying to cover him in gold and it looks weird and puffy, like he doesn't, you know what I mean?
Right.
No longer looking like a droid now. Now he's kind of looks more humanoid.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool.
That's cool. I'm definitely gonna watch it. I know that Strange New Worlds is coming back relatively soon. I think they're filming seasons 2 and 3 back to back. And I love that show.
Comes back in like June, I think.
Yeah. That's a good one. So anyway, all right, that's
coming out. I don't know. Right. Go ahead. What?
I was gonna say that's kind of the end of the pop culture stuff. And now this terribly depressing series of.
No, these are awesome. This has been a great week for like big name right wing clowns. Get like a lot of Schadenfreude.
Yeah.
There was a lot of Schadenfreude this week. Monday, right out the gate, we found out Tucker Carlson was fired from Fox News, and it was fucking hysterical. Like, I guess, did you see the clip of his last episode where it ended with like he had some guy from a pizza place on and they were eating like pizza and he's like, all right, well, I'll see you guys next week. And it was like this guy, it didn't end in a way where he, usually the joke was whenever a Fox person got in trouble, they would always end the episode with, well, I'm going on vacation, I'll see you in a week. He had no clue. No clue.
There's a great TikTok with that clip where he says, see you next week. And then they have the I think you should leave guy pop up with that. Are you sure about that? You
sure about that? So there's a couple of reasons why he's definitely been fired, let go, whatever you want to call it. I love this. They came to an agreement.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sure he's going to collect some money or whatever, but he was fired.
The agreement was you would not let the door hit him on the way out.
Yeah. There's a couple of things. One, the whole Dominion thing. A lot of shit in discussion. We talked about this last week. And the one thing I don't think people realize is that what's awesome about the Dominion thing is people were like, we were upset. We wanted this to go to court. We wanted to see Rupert Murdoch on the stand. We wanted to see Tucker Carlson on the stand. We want to see we want that. But really what happened with the Dominion lawsuit was it ended up costing a ton of money. It's possible that part of the agreement was that we don't know this. It could have been part of the agreement that You have to lose these people. Dan Bongino last week was the first big name person on Fox. Now he didn't have a show, but he was on a literal like permanent guest or
Yeah.
on air talent.
Remember the name of his show?
Dan Congo Bongo Badingo Bajingo Badingo.
It was called Canceled in the USA.
Yeah, then he got canceled. I know, so funny. This is a bizarre video where he's peeing in a cup and then he drinks it, and it's like, what's up with these people like drinking their
I
own
feel
blood?
so owned. He should keep doing that.
That makes me so angry. When you do that, when you drink a whole jug of your urine, that makes that really gets my
right.
Better not do that again.
Right.
Yeah. So there was the whole Dominion thing where all the stuff came out about him. He said like tons of shit. One, that he fucking hated Trump, and
yeah,
I think he said shit about the Murdochs and all this other stuff. And this was all because of discovery from that case.
Yes.
All the leaked stuff that came out. And then because there's stuff about Maria Bartiromo and stuff like that. So then there's this Abby Grossman thing.
Yeah.
And she used to, what was she?
People are kind of holding her up to be a hero. And I'm not going to take
I'm not
away
saying
from,
she's a hero. I don't know. Go ahead.
She was a producer for Maria Bartiromo for years, and then felt like she wasn't going to get ahead there. So she went to Tucker Carlson. And then she recorded like 90 conversations and blew the whistle on it. And she's really fucking shit up over there now, and which is hilarious and good, but it doesn't change the fact that she helped push this shit for years until it personally didn't sit right with her career, and then she pulled the
it's
trigger.
like that lady from Fox. She's been on Fox and Friends during the whole Me Too thing came out.
Yeah.
Like, she became one of the big people. Megyn Kelly tried right on that too, but Megyn Kelly's such a horrible, shrill person. Yeah. She's terrible. And I was like nervous about that movie. Like there's that movie that came out. I thought they were going to make you
Bombshell
like,
or something.
Yeah, it was pretty decent. But Nicole Kidman played the character, one woman from Fox, and I forgot her name.
I am completely blanking on it, but I know who you're talking about.
She was the middle seat blonde for years. But I forgot who played Megyn Kelly. Yeah. But they did not. They made her. She was horrible. Like she was just a typical right-wing selfish asshole. Like, so that was actually a pretty decent. It ended up being a pretty decent movie. I was like, oh no, they're gonna try to like make you have sympathy for this wretched person. And they didn't. So
good.
But I remember like all these people came out and they're like, oh, it's all the sexism there and something like that. But like, yeah, but you're still part of that machine. Like you're still like. You helped sell the Iraq war to people like in 2003. Like you helped, like you lied to people. You sold the Tea Party.
And if they'd kept getting raises and if they had kept getting promotions, they wouldn't have done anything. They would have been happy to keep spreading all that nonsense. If this Abby Grossman if she had gotten the promotion she wanted.
You think that's all it was? I thought there was some other like.
She did come out and say it was like a sexist kind of harassing.
She said it was a hostile work environment.
Yeah, because she wasn't getting promoted.
Whatever.
Whatever.
She's revealing like basically how racist the people are there and how anti-Semitic they are, how sexist they are.
I heard that on 4chan and like on all these like horrible far right-wing websites, they're all sad because Tucker got fired, and they're sad because they think that he was the main source of soft red pilling. Like he was on board. Yeah,
he was like Sean Hannity is like your grandpa's, your dad's, whatever racist uncle that they would watch. But Tucker was literally selling the Great Replacement theory.
Oh yeah,
and pushing George Soros stuff, and like have like guests like Glenn Greenwald on, Tim Dore, like Kyle Rittenhouse, and
he was going to have some QAnon person on next week. That then the deal fell through, obviously, because it got canned. I don't know. I just remember I read today that writer, I forget, it's Ben. What's his name?
He's on Twitter a lot. He Ben Collins. No.
Oh yeah, that guy, Ben Collins. I've seen him.
Is it Ben? Yeah. He was saying that all these 4chan people are like really distraught. And at that point, I was like, "It's a stupid expression, but this probably is what chicken soup for the soul feels like." You know,
well,
like
it's true though. I mean, this Tucker was like an incredibly dangerous personality, and people are like, "Oh, he'll get his own network. Oh, he'll do this. He'll be just as powerful."
Nah.
No, he won't.
Nah.
No, he fucking won't.
Talk to Glenn Beck. See how it's working out for him.
Like, you don't know. Only way you find out about Glenn Beck is if he just says something so atrocious that some people retweet it. I guarantee you, no one knows who the fuck Glenn Beck is outside of outside of right-wing lunatics and the media and leftist media that pays attention to it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Reacts to it. I guarantee you, no one knows who the fuck Glenn Beck is anymore.
No.
And, that's the thing about Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan went on Spotify and you're like, yeah, he got this big deal. But guess what now? Now he's behind a paywall.
Right.
Like, I guarantee you his audience has definitely shrunk. His access to him has shrunk. And
for sure.
And over the next 5 years, it'll keep shrinking. It's going to grow. No fucking way.
Yeah.
As he becomes more extremely right-wing, has more extreme right-wing guests. That's just a fucking fact.
I just looked up the subscriber numbers for the Blaze, Glenn Black's subscription service. Yeah, that's more than I thought. How many people do you think subscribe to the Blaze?
5 million.
450,000.
What? That's not a lot.
It's more than I thought.
That's it.
That's $102 a year.
That's not a lot. That's not a lot of subscribers, though. Okay, but that's a good thing. That means
it is. Yeah, no, I agree.
He's making money. He's making a living. He's making enough to pay people and run the business. But his reach,
is greatly diminished.
He was incredibly dangerous on Fox. He was probably like almost worse than Tucker ever was on Fox. Actually,
yeah.
He was selling. He was the one pushing all the George Soros shit back in the day.
He's a dick, that Glenn Beck. He was terrible, and then Trump got elected. Remember, he briefly went on a redemption tour.
He tried to be like, I'm a good guy again, and fucking what's her face from the Daily Show, like fucking like had him on. They wore Christmas sweaters and got along. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? This guy's a pig.
Yeah.
I always found Glenn Beck to be very disingenuous. Like, I always feel like Tucker at least is like legitly a right-wing piece of shit.
Yeah.
I think he really is. Like, I think he really has a history that goes back, and I feel like Glenn Beck there's something very phony about him. Not to say that Tucker is phony either, but like
I think Glenn Beck is like an addict. Like, and I don't mean I mean that literally, like he was a drug addict for a long time. He was. But I think the addict personality, like I think that is him. Like,
I think he's just a shock jock asshole.
Yeah, well, and also he can't control. He has no like he just wants attention, and he wants it any way he can get it, and he's always working an angle. And he's like, a lot of drug addicts eventually learn how to be pretty good con artists because like you need that skill to stay being a drug addict. I think that's him.
And the funny thing too is when he was on Fox, and this was during the early years of the Obama years, he would tell people that like FEMA can't, you're gonna be thrown in a FEMA camp. Like, he did all that. And the funny thing was, he would do that. He would basically tell his listeners that the value of the dollar is going to go down, and then literally run
gold,
to buy overpriced gold.
Yeah,
it's like it's like, how is this shit legal?
Right.
This is like literally an infomercial where you literally scare your audience, telling them that the dollar that you have, the dollar that you work so hard to get, is going to
be worth less tomorrow
because there's a black man in the White House, and the only way you could do it, and that's not that's 100% what he was doing, and they're going to arrest you. They're going to do this. The only way you're going to be able to survive in this new world is to have gold. So, and I happen to get like 30% of that. That's Glenn Beck, not me. I didn't get any of that. But the Tucker thing, like, no, where would we go on? Rumble? He'll go on like Rumble, the what's that guy's name? Peter Thiel's Rumble thing.
He'll go on Discord or something. Oh,
like,
Substack.
like people are like, oh, he'll go on Newsmax or OAN. Well, OAN's like not even really a thing anymore, right?
No.
Newsmax can't. I guarantee you, Newsmax can't afford him. Daily Wire is not going to take him.
Well,
He'll go on something. And you know what? Maybe he won't do shit.
He's always going to have, or a person like him will always have a base interested in what he has to say. But the danger of Fox, the real problem with Fox is that it's on every cable package.
Yep.
It's on every military base. It's
in every fucking.
Yep.
You're waiting for your car to be fixed. Guaranteed Fox is on.
Right. So that's the problem with Fox. Like OAN, Newsmax, all those, they might pop up here or there, but you got to be like a fucking lunatic. Like if you're in a store or waiting in a waiting room and they've got Newsmax on, you got like bigger problems. You got to get on Yelp. I was
at the McDonald's by what's that main road near
Justin?
No,
Long Prairie,
the highway near.
Well, there's highway. 35, Justin.
35. Yeah, there was a McDonald's on 35. I remember taking Roger there, and he was like pretty young, probably like 7 or whatever.
Yeah.
8. And we're there, and they had Fox News on, and Fox News was going on about like it was some sexual thing about blowjobs and shit like that. And I was like, I went to the manager. I was like, dude, turn this shit off. And like, you got like this guy talking about like I'm here with my kid, and you have this guy. I wanted to turn Fox off anyway, but I'm like, this fucking network's like, it's so funny. This this conservative network that's like all about being like pure and everything like that. They're a bunch of fucking sexual deviants, actually.
Oh yeah,
they're going on about like fucking fellatio and shit. They're saying it on there, and I'm like, in McConnell's, I'm like. The guy
isn't he's Trump's nephew, right?
Who?
Fellatio. Fellatio blow.
Yeah. I call him knob. I call him blowjob. He's fellatio.
Foghorn, blowhorn.
Foghorn, blowhorn. knob kings. Bell end. Little bell. Yeah, I made him turn it. I was like, turn this shit off, man. Like, what that?
That's the danger with Fox, is that if you go to your grandparents' house, it's like
it's it's become the generic news. I always love like these right wingers be like, we do watch CNN, and I'm like, dude. Well, first of all, CNN's like been veering to the right.
Yeah, hard.
I hardly watch it. They did fire Don Lemon. We can talk about that for a minute, but it's like, who cares? I'm sorry, Tucker's a bigger fish than Don Lemon. Don Lemon's an on-air personality. And you find out what he got. Like, did you see like that one interaction he had? It was like his last one. It was with some guy who was lying about the NRA and making all these claims saying that the NRA is the reason why we had civil rights and all this bullshit.
Yeah.
Don Lemon was just countering him on it. And
Don Lemon's good. I like Don Lemon.
I know he's got his job as a reporter, not as on a show, and countering the guy.
He wasn't always perfect, but I like Don Lemon.
Yeah, I thought it was so funny. I remember like people were playing the clips of that guy. What was that show? All Gas No Brakes. That guy, the one documentary. What was his name? Curly hair guy.
I forget the guy's name.
Well, whatever. This Place Rules. He made a documentary. Came out like late, like pretty much like New Year's Day or New Year's Eve. It was on HBO Max, and they kept on playing this clip where he was on there. And he was saying to like Don Lemon, like how the networks were the same. And Don Lemon like went, he was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, we're not the same as Fox. That's complete bullshit. And I remember everybody was like, and I was like, he is kind of right. I mean, like, you can make the case and say that like, oh, these networks are like similar in that they sensationalize things. And
that's fair.
But that's fair. But I don't think that's how it came off. He made it sound like sometimes you need to like understand your audience, and you can't just say something and then expect people to like understand that people are gonna be like, how are we the same as Fox? Like, Fox is the arm of the Republican Party. They push an obvious agenda, whatever. But it's funny because that kid then ended up getting like I don't know, a bunch of allegations came out about him. And
Yeah, that was
where's he been?
nowhere.
No, and like I've not seen him. I remember like all these like left-leaning people. He was like the dog, like they like anything he would say, they like were behind him. They're like, yeah.
Oh,
What?
He was about to blow up. I mean,
Yeah.
really, like more so than he.
And I didn't like that movie because I felt like it downplayed how dangerous
It
the
did.
fucking Proud Boys were.
It did.
And I got annoyed at people who like were defending it. I said no. I'm like it's an okay documentary, but it really does downplay like
It was a both sidesism type of thing.
they really did do some
Yeah.
both sided bullshit. And I'm like, we have like how is this edgy? We've had this already. We've had this both sided bullshit for decades in the media. We don't need a hipper version of it. We have like we need to move on from that. We need someone who is hip and is willing to say, yeah, fine. The Biden lady was a little wacky, but you know what? These fucking Proud Boys are fucking a militant terrorist group that's backed by the GOP. Like that's something to worry about. Back to Tucker. So Tucker was like the kind of like you said, like kind of like an Alex Jones, a well-spoken Alex Jones on Fox.
Yeah. He was a very approachable, kind of like semi-relatable, awful person. He's like the friendly Nazi next door, where before you know it, you've kind of like come to like the person, and then you find out their beliefs, and then you kind of slide into those beliefs. It's really insidious.
Tucker hates all that Nazi stuff he has in his collection. He buys the things he hates.
Well, yeah, it is
like Harlan Crow. What?
Yeah, it is awful. So him getting fired was great news. It was a great start to the week, and then to make the week even. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and to say it again, I reiterate, like he. I don't think the major network, any other major network, CNN and MSNBC. First of all, the joke was he was fired by those networks years ago.
Oh yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, they'll be kind of funny if like CNN hires him and Fox hires Don Lemon. I'm like, I just don't think Tucker's gonna get hired by anyone, especially with the Abby Grossman thing going on and like more shit that's gonna come out from the Dominion thing.
Yeah, I think that's it too. Like if you this will apply to anything. Let's say you run you paint houses for a living, and you have a house painting business, and there's a guy who's been sued like 7 times for fucking up house painting jobs, and you're aware of that, and you hire the guy and he fucks up another house, then you're kind of on the hook too.
I worked at a company that literally did that with their VP, knowing full well how shady this guy was, and then 2 years later finding out he was extorting hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars from a company. And I was like, oh wow, who could have saw this coming?
Right.
Oh my God.
But if you're
wouldn't do it.
If you're a news company and you can't libel people or slander people or whatever, and this guy does that, and you hire him and he does it again, then like that's an easy court case. I mean, like these places have to carry insurance too. Like I don't know, like is a news company going to be able to insure their business? Like are they going to be able to buy like error and emissions policies, or they going to be able to seriously like
$800 billion lawsuit?
It's like a hospital hiring a doctor with like 8 million lawsuits against him. Like, are you going to be able to afford
doesn't have a license either?
Are you going to be able to afford malpractice? Can you get malpractice insurance for this guy? I don't know. I think Tucker's kind of that. He's toxic in that sense.
Yeah,
like
Tucker will go on some bullshit thing that has where he'll go on some right-wing garbage that is just, exactly what it is. It cannot sell itself as moderate, sensible, middle of the road. Fox is able to still sell that for some insane reason, because like you said, because it's everywhere. Fox
it's ubiquitous.
It's literally everywhere. You cannot avoid it. And so Tucker, fine. Yeah. Will he be rich? Well, he already is rich. He comes from Wisconsin's TV dinner empire. He's already rich from years of doing it. He was making like $20 million a year at Fox.
Crazy.
Like, dude, Yeah, I'm gonna before we move on, I want to tell you some funny comments I got.
Yeah.
I did a Tucker drawing years ago for this guy, and I took that art and I modified it where I gave him tears and I did the carved Nazi scar. I put that on Tucker's head and I posted it on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I posted it on Instagram. And on Instagram, I got some amazing comments. I screenshotted some of them because they were so good that I had to save them. I ended up deleting some of them because some of them were just like gross. So they were just like attacking me and saying nasty shit. But of course, I get I posted the thing on my Instagram, Tucker, and I get right away. I get like some assholes like, "What you drew Don Lemon there?" Like, why would I? Who cares? No, Don Lemon does not have a cultural impact like Tucker Carlson does. It's not even the same. It's like it's like saying a major NBA player gets fired for I don't know, like if Tom Brady got fired for something, right? And then like someone in I don't know, some off league and NFL got fired too. And it's like
not the same.
No, they're not the same. It's like, I mean, yeah, Don Lemon's been around for years, but it's just not the same. It's like when a minor celebrity dies and a big celebrity dies like an hour later and no one says about that. This was my favorite. This guy said, "Why don't you help end white supremacy?" All right, well, let me read what I wrote first.
Yeah.
And then I'll read some of the comments because they're loving. They're full of love. Said, "White supremacist, propagandist, and heiress of the Swanson TV dinner empire. Carlson has been let go from Fox News, possibly due to the Dominion lawsuit and a lawsuit from former senior booking producer Abby Grossberg. First time I saw this ghoul was on CNN before the Iraq War. He was in full support of it. This POS has always been on the wrong side of history. Tucker actively promotes the Great Replacement theory, anti-Semitic and racist BS. He was garbage in college, where he was part of the Dan White Society, a group celebrating the murderer of the first openly gay politician, Harvey Milk. He was part of the Dan White Society.
Yeah, I remember. I read that. That's crazy.
Yeah. Tucker is absolute trash. Is this the last we'll hear from him? Probably not. But he'll go off into the fringes of far-right media where he can never be sold as a moderate or common sense voice. He'll be in the muck. This is where I knew it. I'd get pissed off some people. He'll be in the muck. Glenn Beck, Alex Jones, and Joe Rogan.
Oh, there you go. That's
I knew the Joe Rogan thing would piss people off. I was like, I don't fucking care. That guy is a full-on right winger. And I got all these dumbasses who were like, he's I'm like, I don't give a fuck if Joe Rogan claims he's Lenin. He constantly regurgitates right-wing talking points to the team. He has right-wing guests on that dictate the argument. If he has anyone that's on the left on, they usually are the grifting type who's you look at their audience, and their audience is just filled with right wingers.
He's the classic, like, I also have Democrats on, such as Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah,
and, I mean that's like,
that lady who switched parties in North Carolina,
right? Trisha Cotham.
Yeah. And the other thing too, I think people don't realize too is that Tucker pushed all kinds of anti-vax shit. For years throughout COVID.
Yep.
He pushed anti-Ukraine, pro-Russia propaganda.
Also true.
He would fly out to Hungary multiple times over the years and basically work with Viktor Orban, the fascist kind of Nazi leader of Hungary.
He was just terrible. I mean, he's like the anti-Anderson Cooper. I like Anderson Cooper. Anderson Cooper was born into the Vanderbilt family and then kind of like wandered a bit.
He's just a news guy, he's like a news personality.
He's fine though. He's not like, I like Anderson Cooper.
Well, and Anderson Cooper is like a Tom Brokaw type.
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson was a propaganda.
Morton Downey Jr.
Pretty much, yeah. A well-groomed Morton Downey Jr. It's so
Yeah.
funny. I used to watch Martin Down Jr. when I was a kid, and
He
I
was
didn't really
great.
think about it. Yeah, it was great. It was like stupid as hell. The guest, he would have people on. These weirdos would show up all the time.
Always the Guardian
didn't-
Angels guy,
Oh yeah, that guy.
Curtis Silver, or
Yeah,
whatever.
he always had that guy on. That guy's a fucking nut. And Curtis Silver posted something a day about
I
like
saw
how
that.
he needs to help like the cops. But I left the comment like, yeah, they only have like a $12.6 billion dollar budget. Can we help these poor cops?
Right.
Like,
What a-
fuck outta here. This guy said to me, why don't you help end white supremacy and kill yourself, Whitey? Imagine being an obsessed,
Touche, good sir. Touche.
yeah, imagine being such an obsessed loser, spelled L0SER, with
Oh,
only one side of politics that you sit down and spend hours, days, weeks, question mark, drawing them, thinking up of how many insults you can throw in one sentence, and then most of it be inaccurate. My favorite post of yours I've seen is how 2023 is shaping up to be your worst year yet. Ha ha. That one was pretty funny. Yeah, I love that. No, that made me laugh. I was like, here's another one. This one's pretty good. This one's from Brian Kagameyer. Of course you won't do what I'm Don Lemon. You're not open to free speech. I already told you this! Exclamation point. And now you just prove me right! Exclamation point.
You
Thanks
fell
for
right into his
your
trap.
Smash yourself! Exclamation point. Told you! Exclamation point. You and your party are exactly what you accuse us as being! Exclamation point. What a damn hypocrite! Exclamation point. You are why I'm glad I'm not a Democrat anymore. Thanks again for showing your true colors. Middle finger, sideways, laughing emoji with the tears. Middle finger.
Great.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Those two comments that I did, I blocked those two accounts.
Yeah, well, yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know why I didn't keep them, but they seem so friendly and loving. And
Yeah, you just don't like centrists, I guess.
yeah,
You just like-
common sense thinking, you know. I just love those people like, why don't you draw that? Why don't you fucking draw a fucking cake? Like, I don't want to. What you do Batman? Why not draw Superman? Because I didn't want to. What, like, because I don't want to draw a bite. No, like that was someone posted. I did like a really shitty quick drawing. I'm gonna do a better one of it's the Saturn eating his son. It's eating, but it's Mickey eating Ron DeSantis.
Yes.
I did like a really rough sketch and posted it.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Yeah, on Twitter, right?
Yeah, I posted on Instagram too, though. And
Oh, I don't know if I saw it on Instagram.
Disney devouring Ron DeSantis.
Yeah,
and I said,
that's great.
This person's like, you should do a Biden one or Kamala or anyone on the left just to even the playing field.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
First of all, no. And what do you mean even the playing field? Like,
Yeah, I don't understand that.
yeah. Well, I said, why? You can draw those politicians if you want. And I said, is Disney suing them? And then this guy did the both sides. He said both sides, but with the up and down letters.
Nice.
Like the both sides. And then he writes, I'm not sure, ... They probably sued over other dummies in the past, though. Around, okay. Dude, there was some nasty comments on the Tucker one. I got some lunatic who was claiming he was Jewish, and he was going on this large tirades. I tried to ignore him. There was tons of comments. But my favorite was, you get all these weird people that come in. We'll move on.
Yeah.
And this is, I think, what the problem with Tucker. You get all these idiots that come on, and they start talking about the Ukraine. I'm like, there's something shady about this. Like, why is Ukraine coming up? Sorry, I kind of hit the mute button.
Oh, yeah.
So they were saying like, oh, there's this bullshit that the right is pushing about the Ukraine, saying that there's this Azov battalion or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like a hard right, kind of like, I mean, they're basically Nazis, whatever, right? And
Right.
it's like, okay, and this has been propaganda that the Russia has been pushing since the beginning of the invasion. And it's like, well, I find that odd because one, all the Nazis in the United States and around the world are in full support of Russia and Putin. So explain
100%.
that one to me. And I was like, well, if we were being invaded, let's say, and we had an army, there'd probably be some Proud Boys in there. There'd probably be some like, maybe, even though I think if it was Russia, they'd probably be working with the Russians. We're liberating America.
Right.
I could see that. But let's say, like, there's Nazis in our military. They've always been.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
always been hard right, extreme right wing people in their military. That's a fact. I remember
That is true.
the Iraq War, hearing about how there were like so many Aryan Brotherhood people that were either enlisted or whatever, and they do it for some do it just because they need it, and some do it for nefarious reasons, so they could get weapons or whatever for their fucking bunker or whatever they want to do.
Right.
So yeah, that doesn't like the leader of Ukraine is Jewish. The country has been in a full-on assault by one of the biggest superpowers in the world. And I think it's a shitty whataboutism to bring up this battalion of people that, like, yeah, they suck, but like that is not the big picture. I'm like, anyone that brings it up, I'm always like, you're muddying the water. You're trying to muddy the water. And Tucker Carlson would do shit like that.
Maybe there is an element in Ukraine that needs work, and that can begin after Russia gets out.
Yeah.
Like
they have to do is make sure they don't gain any power politically in the country. They don't, like,
if you're telling me that there are shitty people in an entire country, I believe that. I believe that somewhere in that country there's a group of shitty people.
It's like we had to unite the right in the United States.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
January
That doesn't mean that we should be invaded.
Yeah. Like, okay, so if we're being invaded, then I guess the propaganda will be like, oh, we're trying to solve the Nazi problem in the United States.
Right.
I would imagine, like, it is the shittiest whataboutism, and people are falling for that crap.
Yeah.
It's all like
it's easy to fall for.
Yeah, but it's like you can totally diffuse the argument, but then these psychos usually don't want to hear it. It's like, again, explain to me, why are all the Nazis in support of Russia in the United States? All the Nazis in the United States support Russia.
Yeah.
Why, if Ukraine was this Nazi country that these people are trying to make it out to be, wouldn't they be supporting the Ukraine then?
Well, who's been supporting Russia lately is Meatball Ron. At first he was saying that it's not our fight, we shouldn't be helping the Ukraine. Then he shifted gears just a couple days ago when he was in Japan or South Korea, I forget which. He was saying that that there should be a ceasefire, and the people are saying he was doing this specifically right before the Ukraine was about to start a counteroffensive against Russia. And
I love the whole like, oh, they need to come together and do that. Like, it's like so stupid. It's like they invaded the fucking country.
Yeah. Ukraine doesn't need to do shit.
Ukraine needs to, like, defend itself.
Yeah. Well,
it's the fucking dumbest. Like, the argument is, when will the Ukraine thing end? I don't know, when Putin's like fucking done.
Yeah. That's an easy one.
So yeah, well, we're gonna talk about Ron DeSantis now anyway, right?
Oh yeah.
So this is another satisfying week for, again, Tucker. It's like big fish right wingers getting like fucking just locked off the ankles. and like again, yes, will Tucker be a rich asshole who has a large audience? Yeah, but it'll never expand. That's the fact.
Right, it'll only dwindle. Yeah,
it can never sell itself as a moderate voice. And the problem I have with Ron DeSantis is that I could see the media falling for trying to push that asshole as a moderate voice when he, I think, is even further to the right than Trump is.
Oh yeah,
which is insane. Trump has no ideology. Let's just get that out of the way.
Trump is just as likely to accidentally do something good.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously. Every once in a while, he'd do that. He'd like do something. You're like, fuck, that, okay.
Like the Hulk in the Avengers movie, just gotta aim Bruce Banner in the right direction to make sure all the rage just goes there.
Right. But Trump will accidentally do good things here and there, so
Yeah, as long as the evil people that whisper in his ears aren't around.
yeah.
It would be a good idea is if you their medical bills are a pain in the ass. We should
Right.
oh yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Like everyone's
We'll call it Trump care. It's Medicare, but we'll call it Trump care.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that even better.
Right.
Did you see that video? Speaking of morons that clearly don't understand ideology or whatever, did you see that video of George Santos?
Yeah, you showed that to me.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there's this video, real quick, before we move on. George Santos, there's a video of him where he's got this newsletter, and it's like from he tears it up like, I don't want this garbage. Why are you sending this to me? I don't know why I'm doing that voice, but that's kind of what he sounds like. And
It's like a cross between like Ethel
glasses.
Merman and
What?
It's like a cross between Ethel Merman and Jerry Lewis.
And
Like,
John Lovitz.
Well, yeah.
With the acting. He tears up the paper thinking it's like some union thing. And the paper that he actually ripped up was a right to work newsletter, like an anti-union propaganda.
That guy's so dumb.
I guess welcome to the resistance, George.
Right. So woke.
Look at this wokester over here, this pro-union wokester. Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about the green M&M. That was actually like the big thing with Tucker.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
We'll move on. We got the guy who loves pudding.
Oh.
So Ron DeSantis was this was early this week. There was like some interview, and I guess was that in Japan or whatever?
This is that one was in Japan, I think.
Someone was asking him a question about like, are you gonna enter the race or whatever?
Yeah.
And he just went on this bizarre like I can find the clip, but like it's all a visual thing. He just starts like spazzing out. Like I'm surprised like a spring didn't pop out of his neck and like a little bit of smoke came out of his ears.
He did. He looked like someone superimposed him over the That's All Folks from the Looney Tunes thing.
What's his name? Cooper or whatever? Some guy.
Don Cooper, I think.
Yeah, he posted a GIF with the That's All Folks with Ron DeSantis like head just wabbling around.
Looked identical. I mean, it looked like every one of the bones in his neck just turned to jelly or something.
Like, this guy is off-putting. Off-putting.
Yeah.
I'm always on. He's like, I'm always on.
He's on pudding. Yeah.
$47 of pudding. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Barry and Levon. He had this word salad, and it was accompanied by these wild gesticulations, and just all his facial expressions were stupid as fuck. And it just looked terrible. And when they
there's a gremlin, and his main goal is to be stupid as fuck.
I love it. It's in the movie. I love it.
It's in the movie.
But it was awful. And there was a scene right before that where he's walking alongside the Prime Minister of Japan, and Ron DeSantis's pant legs are like up to his calves or something. He's wearing like these really ill-fitting pants and like these dopey boots again with like heels and stuff. He's just like a real awkward guy, and I don't know, he's definitely socially awkward. Like if he were a more sympathetic character, you'd wonder if he had some sort of like like developmental disorder or something. I don't know. He's just like
yeah, is he petting cats and sings in a church choir, Joseph?
Yes, that's the kind. Yes.
Give Ron DeSantis a cat to pet and put him in a church choir so we don't have to deal with them anymore.
That's the kind of vibe he gives. And he also, like, they prop him up to be a real smart guy. They said he was like a army prosecutor and this and that, whatever. But like,
if I remember right, his
Jago.
job was to his job was to prosecute inmates at Guantanamo.
Yeah, he was the Guantanamo Bay guy.
Like, wow, okay, that's probably a pretty easy case to prosecute. Like
He was like there, I think, for the whole torture thing.
Like, you just waterboarded the guy for 40 hours. He confessed to everything. He confessed to JFK's murder. He confessed to like being the first one on the moon.
Yep.
And now Meatball Ron's big job is to like type up the paperwork on that. Like
the guy that we fucking stimulated drowning for an hour and a half.
Never mind that it's evil. It's just like a really easy job for a lawyer. Like
the guy we put a car battery to his nipples and crotch admitted.
Here's a guy who released 700 Twitter videos of himself taking credit for the bombing. Ron put him away. Good job. Good lawyering job, Ron. Like, would you just like show the jury the 700 self-incriminating videos the guy did? Anyway, and now Ron DeSantis is doing all like he's outsmarted at every step of the way. The only time he's not outsmarted is when he like just unilaterally demands something. It's I don't know.
Well, the funny thing is, people were like, well, when's this fucking guy? Like, this guy's been doing like a soft campaign where he's been going to different states, like, he's traveling, he's leaving the country. His state's literally drowning. Literally drowning. And he's fucking like, it's like, what the fuck? How come he hasn't entered yet? And it's like, well, why even bother? He's losing 400. Trump's killing him. And you find out there's a reason.
Yeah.
There's a law in Florida that dictates that if he announces his run for president, he has to resign as governor.
Yes. Now he can postpone that resignation. He can resign effective November 2nd, 2023 or whatever,
He can still do that.
He can do that. But it's irrevocable. Like, he can say, I'm running for president. I believe this is the law. I'm running for president and I resign as of the day before I would take office as president.
Well, they're already working on it. Then the Florida legislator is doing the most important work, which is opening the door for Ron DeSantis to run for president.
Yeah.
But again, all these supposed backers of his are like backing Trump. Like, I don't understand why this guy is even going to bother running. I think it's like, if he was smart, what he would do is he would have the legislator fuck with it so that he could run for a third term as governor.
That's what my brother was saying. He thinks that that ultimately someone's going to explain the math to Meatball Ron and tell him there's no way you're winning. You're better off trying for a third term as governor, and then you can take another crack at it in 2028 or something. You will have. He's a relatively young guy.
Yeah.
But the problem is, like, Meatball Ron too. Let's say Trump goes to prison tomorrow, and Meatball Ron has a wide open lane to the White House or to the Republican nominee. He can't win. He's come out with this 6-week abortion ban.
Yep.
That won't even sound like Kansas.
On a national scale, he will fucking lose.
I can't think of. I mean, he might carry like. Look, he's a Republican.
He'll carry all the deep red states, and who knows? He couldn't even lose fucking Florida.
He might. Like, a 6-week ban is like way out of step with what most people want.
It's a ban. It's a complete ban on abortion. I mean, like, it's not for 10 years. 6 weeks is a joke. It's a complete, absolute ban on abortion. Most people don't even know they're pregnant until after 8 weeks.
Right, and he's like, Disney is Florida's biggest employer.
We didn't even get into that yet.
Yeah, but he's anyways.
Discuss the like everything going on with like the gasket blowing and him like looking like a fucking weirdo and like.
He's just so off.
Of him just like that should be enough to like. But there's so much like, again, him with those dopey white boots like last year.
Do the video of him with his head and put the Benny Hill music behind it, and there's your ad. That's your ad against Meatball Ron.
Yeah, but like you said, it's like his thing is, and then it's like, okay, so yeah, going he's been having this like battle with Disney. I think we talked about this last week, where he was putting out this thing claiming like, oh, I'll put a jail by Disney. Like,
Yeah.
like fuck with the traffic there and all that. And so Disney today, was it today?
Yeah, apparently the Reedy Creek board, the DeSantis re-put these people on the board, and they voted to like get rid of all the past agreements. Anyway, DeSantis's people took control of the board again today, and literally 15 minutes after they did that, Disney filed this like 60-page lawsuit in federal court,
basically stating that they are being like persecuted or something like that. They are literally being like attacked by the governor.
Yeah, and they have like a ton of evidence. Like the lawsuit is filled with quotes from
just the video of him saying like,
yeah,
I'm gonna build a prison next to Disneyland is like enough of like a threat.
It's just such a gross miscalculation too. Like this would have been a fight super easy to walk away from, you know, but he didn't. He like sought it out. And I mean, so many people go to Disney. So many people in Florida go to Disney, you know.
Yeah.
I just can't see this being a winning fight. The people look, there are legitimately people out there who legitimately think Disney is grooming children for like a pedophilia ring, but these are insane people. And
yeah,
there's very few of them.
Those are people that are on the fringes.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you know what Disney's doing? Disney's grooming kids into being consumers.
Right. Yeah. I'm not saying Disney's
consumers.
Yeah. I have problems with Disney. Like, and some of the but this whole
literal
thing is bullshit.
Cradle to the grave marketing.
Yeah.
I mean like, Disney
it's generally a good product. It's generally
they know what they're doing.
Quality.
And the thing is, like, okay, fine. Guess what? If Disney puts out like a bad a Marvel movie that's not that good, who cares? Because Disney has millions of reach all over the world. You know, it's like all these jackasses who are like, look, they're firing people on Disney Plus. Yeah, that's one fucking thing. Disney has so much reach. I don't even know what their value is as a company.
I don't know, man. It's
in the trillions.
It's a big, successful company run by smart people. And here's
the
thing,
funny thing is, you would always hear stories about Disney suing people, but usually what they do is it's cease and desist. They send cease and desist letters. They do whatever, takedowns. But I never see. Have you ever seen Disney do this?
No.
And this is, it's like they have every right to fucking do this because, again, Ron DeSantis and his lunatics that are his disciples that are working for him, this is all a political attack because he wanted some "Don't Say Gay" bill, and like Disney was like, I don't know about that, you know. Like,
yeah. Well, I'll tell you, Ron DeSantis too, like, has these operatives, Jeremy Redfern, Christina Pushaw. They're like literally like cartoonish middle school bullies.
Isn't Christina Pushaw not even from? Isn't she like a Russian like Nazi or some shit?
I think that is true. But they just like shit talk on Twitter all day. That's like all they do, and it's like, and it's like stupid, petty, personal stuff. Like really, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't get how Meatball Ron won Florida the first time or the second time. I think so, you know, but it's remarkable. And I don't know. I think people I don't want
She's like Christina Pushaw looks like if 7 of 9 was left in the microwave a little too long.
Yeah, right.
The actress who plays 7 of 9. Like if she just was like
the Wish version of 7
yeah, like if somebody just like kept her in a sauna for like 6 days, forgot to take her out. Like it's definitely like something weird.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I don't know. It is funny to see Meatball Ron go through this. I think Disney's probably going to win this case. I know that this sucks that you have to like figure out, will a case prevail based on who appointed the judge, but it's going initially to a judge appointed by Obama.
Let me just tell you too, Disney, again, billions and billions of dollars.
Yeah.
They could sue the shit out of him. They could literally sue him for damages.
Oh yeah.
Any kind. If this one doesn't go through, they will get him again somewhere else.
Well, and that's, look, what is the end goal here? Ron puts Disney out of business, that people would hate him.
Yeah,
I mean,
again,
it's like
majority of people. Oh, and this is great too. You have to be so pathetic that you give Nikki Haley a leg up. Nikki Haley was on a show, and she said,
I saw that
Fox thing, and she said something like, I invite Disney to move to, what was it, like South Carolina?
South Carolina, yeah.
With South Carolina, still have all the beautiful beaches here, and it's still great weather or whatever. We still have the family values, but we're not sanctimonious about it or whatever, but whatever. Or said like, we don't believe in like the woke crap or some bullshit. I don't know. She said something stupid, but it's like
terrible.
Yeah, she sucks. She's terrible, but like that's how bad you have to be.
Yeah.
Wow. Freaking Nikki
Haley.
You look like a psychopath. Like,
yeah.
And open the doors to like, hey, you don't have to be in Florida forever, Disney. Start working on one here, and then eventually you could phase out the Florida one in 10 years.
There were people tonight at a meeting. A lot of local business owners in the area surrounding Disney, because like Disney makes a lot of money, but like there's a whole economy of stuff that's around Disney. Like oftentimes the tourists will go there, they'll stay at a hotel, and they'll go to Disney and Universal, or they'll do something like that. And all these business owners are like, look, A, you're fucking our shit up, and B, Disney has like a ton of undeveloped land out there, like a lot.
Yeah.
So what is, if Ron DeSantis does this, what is Disney going to do? Is it going to continue to develop that undeveloped land, or is it going to maybe look to build additional theme parks elsewhere? Even if they keep the Disney in Florida, maybe they have extra money next year and they're like, you know what, we're going to rehab our California property. That's where we're going to put our money this year. Like, why would you? It makes no sense.
We're gonna put that new exclusive. We're gonna put that ride exclusively
and all they're doing. This all stems from Ron DeSantis wants to punish gay people.
It's the fucking
it's the stupidest thing.
It'd be like if Greg Abbott came out and was like, would attack Giant Stadium or something. I don't know. Or football stadiums. It's just like, what are you doing, jackass?
Right. Yeah, there's plenty of other ways for you to be shitty, like that make more sense for you.
Did he ever pardon that guy?
Well, that's a good question. No, I'm positive no, because I would have heard of it.
Yeah, I'll look this up. Greg Abbott.
Yeah, that is a good question.
Greg Abbott. Pardon murderer.
It's probably a fairly
in an unprecedented use of powers, the Republican governor moved to pardon Daniel Perry less than a day after Austin and Jerry convicted him. But that was April 13th in a murder. But I don't see an update. Greg Abbott wants to pardon man.
This
updates since like the 11th. April 14th, Greg Abbott under pressure over plan to pardon racist convicted murderer. Okay, that was the 14th.
Well, I don't know. I would have assumed that
Did they just hope they would go away, or like what?
Well, he could still pardon him, but they definitely want to let the heat die down a little bit. Either way, he would want to let the heat die down, because if he still pardons him, he wants to do it kind of under the table, and if he wants to skip the pardon, he wants like his racist supporters to also have forgotten about it.
Yeah, that's the big key. Forget about it. Garrett Forster's friends. Perry pardon would inspire other killers. Yeah, of course it would. Like the Cobb Rittenhouse thing. How would it not inspire more killers? So DeSantis getting sued by Disney. We'll see. Obviously, this could go on for years, but it'd be funny if it just haunts him forever and it follows him after the death.
Yeah.
I just think it's so stupid. It's like, what a shitty governor. Like,
Yeah.
oh, and I wanted to
Well-
bring this up. I tweeted this the other day. You know, the right has like this insane hatred of this trans person named Dylan Mulvaney.
Yes.
And I said, I think the right that they really hate Dylan Mulvaney because she looks like
Oh yeah. Casey
Dennis's wife.
DeSantis.
Yeah, they're very similar looking.
They do. They look a lot alike.
Yeah. I think that's really funny.
I bet you I know who's more fun in the party, though. I'll tell you.
Yeah. Fucking Casey DeSantis really sucks ass. He's really, not in a good way.
Right. Yeah. Huh. All right. So as all this was happening, as DeSantis was slowly imploding, and the dude, like, every time he opens his big stupid mouth, he loses like another few points to Trump. But as this was occurring, Joe Biden announced his re-election bid, which I guess I didn't realize it at the time, but it came a year on the same day as his first election announcement.
How bad do you have to be that when you speak, you come off worse than Trump?
Yeah. Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about DeSantis. Like,
Yeah.
like, how bad do you have to be?
He's terrible.
Like, he should be able to just be quiet and just come in and take Trump's place if Trump were to like not be able to run. And he's
the odd part is because like with Biden announcing his reelection, Biden, I'm like, just off the top of my head, I'll bet you Biden would like easily beat Trump. But
yeah,
I'll bet you DeSantis would give Biden a run for his money.
I think it's just because DeSantis is still an unknown to most people.
True. Yeah,
So
that could
like,
change. That could change.
It could change. Like, as of right now, I mean, I think that you know, again, me and you are actively on Twitter. We look into the stuff. Most people don't.
True.
That's why Trump was such a great candidate, because people who had no fucking clue about politics or cared about politics were like, I know that guy. He's from the show I watched.
Yeah. You know, I saw an interesting thing. I think it was from Chris Cizilla, which is odd to say that I found something he said interesting. But
the comedian or the guy from like
the old
political guy?
Yeah, he's a political guy. He used to be on CNN. I don't know who he's with anymore. But he said that the Republicans' problem in a nutshell is that only 30% of Americans want Trump to run for president. Only 30% would consider supporting him. But 70% of Republicans think that, you know. So,
but again, that also shows you how the Republicans do not represent the majority of the country.
Yeah.
Like, there's more Democrats in this country. It's just that the way our stupid electoral college is set up, it allows a party that has less people in it to also be equal footing.
Yeah.
To, you know, again, it's like the most insane thing, like where we have senators in California who have to win millions and millions of votes to become senator. And you have like the senator at in South Dakota who just has to enter like a pig beauty pageant contest, literally with pigs, and like they could become senator from that.
Well, that yeah.
And like 400,000 people. I don't know how many people live in South Dakota. Let's just say, I'll just say a couple 100,000 people vote for senator in total. And then you'll have like New York, where it's like tens of millions of people voting for a senator.
Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
They have the same equal power in the Senate.
Identical.
It's bullshit. I remember as a kid, you're taught that. Like, oh, that's so great. All the states are equal. Oh, la-di-da, there's 100 senators, 2 per each state. That's so great. And it's like, no, it's actually not.
Yeah.
It allows like vile industries to prop up shitty candidates in the middle of nowhere in the country, where all they need is a couple of like people to come out and vote for them, and they have the same power as a person that needs like God knows how many people to vote for them.
It's frustrating. I think one of the big problems is that that a lot of states, like North Dakota and South Dakota, should be one state. You know?
That's bullshit.
Like, it really should be. And District of DC should be a state.
you know.
Yeah, I'm surprised
I
that
mean,
conversation died quickly. You never hear that anymore. They never get
Yeah.
brought up.
Well,
It's
that's
like,
I think I wonder if Biden would be more aggressive in his second term. Let's say he gets his second term. I think his big job's got to be to fix the Supreme Court, fix voting rights.
you know what, Jack? I'm gonna start taking more naps.
Well, I think he's got to figure out who's
Well,
next.
Maybe by then they could get rid of Diane Feinstein.
No, Jesus,
So
yeah.
they could get more judges out.
Well, I don't know. I'm glad Biden's running again. I don't think the Democrats have a better option. Like
Well,
a more
that's okay. So I saw that thing and said DNC is not going to hold any debates.
Yeah.
And I saw some jackasses who were like, they're
Right.
like, okay, who's running? And who's primarying him?
Bernie already said he's supporting Biden. I mean,
yeah, Bernie already came out and said he supports Biden, so he's not running.
right.
And Bernie's probably like, I'm not doing that shit again. And he wouldn't do it anyway. He's friends with Biden.
Yeah.
Like they were friends. I mean, I don't know if they like hang out. Hey, hey, Bernie, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, you know, Larry David stuff.
Yeah.
Just picture Larry David, and it's me. I'm doing it. Just old Jewing. No, that sounds awful. Edit that out. I sound like a typical audience member of Tucker Carlson.
Well,
I can say that though.
Yes.
Better not say
that. I think you're right that, like, look, if there were a serious contender, let's say, like, I'm just trying to like think of who might be, like AOC decides to run against him, or
that's not happening.
I know it's not happening. I'm just trying to think of like a big name that would be like,
at this point you would already know. We're early, like entering that. We're like into May. Biden, Biden's probably like announced his re-election later than usually most. Like Trump announced his re-election the day of his inauguration in 2016.
It's so rare that someone would run against an incumbent, like a person of the same party.
Right. There hasn't ever really been a serious run since Ted Kennedy in 1980, who probably fucked up Carter.
Yeah.
Made Carter look weak.
Yeah.
Because Ted Kennedy had a name. Kennedy. I mean, like,
he was a big deal.
And he was the brother.
Well, speaking of Kennedys, we have another Kennedy running.
Well, Robert Kennedy Jr. is a fucking psychopath who is a full-on QAnon nut job.
Yeah.
Who literally hangs out with Steve Bannon. Like, this is a joke. Like, I don't care what Robert Kennedy Jr. says he's for. I don't give a fuck. You hang out with Steve Bannon, you're a bad person.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. You can make all the false claims because I know you're fucking lying. I know you're disingenuous. And his anti-vaxxer stuff is just like beyond crazy. Like, I remember I was listening to like Sam Cedar. He was talking because he had he would have him on the show. Like Robert Kennedy Jr. I remember seeing him back in the day and like seemed like a great voice, and he was never like actually running, but he worked on different things, and like the funny thing is I think he was one of the people who said like Bush stole the 2004 election. They talked about like what happened in Ohio with like the fucking with the ballots and shit. There was a lot of like shit with nailing and that's what sucks about what Trump did, because Trump kind of destroyed that now. So anytime someone's going to bring up like, oh, the election was stolen, it's going to like, it loses validity.
You're right, because I feel like saying that all the time about Florida. I really do. I mean, like it bars any reasonable explanation that DeSantis won that big in Florida.
Yeah,
during that cycle.
Yeah,
something screwy with that. But like, I don't want to say it was rigged or whatever, election fraud, because then you sound like a lunatic Trump supporter.
Yeah,
but that sucks.
Yeah. So, but Robert Kennedy Jr. like was always a big like anti-vaxxer. But I think one of the things he was going after was some. Cedar was talking about some like chemical or whatever that is not. I don't think is in vaccines anymore. This was years ago.
Oh.
And it's like almost like it sounded like at first like he seemed more rational. Like, yeah, we need to make
Yeah,
sure
sure.
the vaccines are like healthy. Like they're not putting in shit that shouldn't be in it. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, I think anything should be regulated. I don't think that's a bad argument to be had.
No.
Like the whole, but when you start getting into Wacko Town,
Yeah.
and then it's like, oh, well, then it becomes a grift.
Yeah.
And
When it's your job,
it
basically.
becomes a grift. And he's just the idea of him running for president as a Democrat is like a joke.
Come on.
Because
Yeah.
he's like hanging out with QAnon people. Like,
Yeah.
like that's not a friend of the left. Not a real
No.
friend. No.
No.
And then
in the
Marianne Williamson is just a joke.
Mhm.
She was on some like net on Fox recently. They were interviewing her, and she basically was just doing Tulsi shit. She was being Tulsi.
She thinks mental illness doesn't exist, like random shit like that.
That's bananas. Like that's like fucking Scientology bullshit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She said
yeah,
that?
basically. Uh-huh.
Is this recent or is this
Yeah, it was, well, I saw the tweet recent. She was talking about how like there is no such thing as like clinical depression.
oh
Let's see.
oh,
Marianne Wilson says clinical depression is a scam.
okay. So you can
Well,
look at things and say, yes, are we over medicating some people?
I agree. Yeah, that is probably
Some
true.
slight depression. I would say that's a fair argument to make. But when you make a blanket statement, that's when it starts to get like crazy.
It's crazy. You can't phrase it that way.
There are people who suffer from depression. There's people who kill themselves because
right. You can come out and say, I think we need to like look at what point we start medicating people or what medications we should, but like just to come out as like, if you're going to expect to be a leader, a political leader, you can't come out and say, clinical depression is a scam.
Especially when like, and it's hysterical too, because it's like all these people, like whenever there's a shooting, what does the right always do? Right-wing politicians and shit, or NRA politicians, they always say, oh, we should do something about mental health.
Right, yeah.
You're gonna have the left-wing candidate basically say like, oh, there is no mental health. That's a scam. Like what? Like,
come on.
I mean, she's a joke anyway. Like, that's not a real. That's. I can't even see them. These two making it past like October.
Yeah, if that,
imploding.
I mean,
I think Mary Williamson will just become we'll just get invited on Fox more, and she'll look like
I don't think she'd even get on the ballot, honestly, in like most places.
Well, there's I'm gonna
well, unless it's like engineered to be that way and in a red state, I mean, I could see that happening. So.
But the difference between her and Tulsi is that Tulsi had more cachet than Mary Williamson.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Tulsi actually served in Congress.
Right. She was an elected official. Yeah.
Yeah. Mary Williamson is a joke from Oprah.
She's a kook. Yeah.
She ran in the 2020 election as a fringe candidate. Like, I don't want to say, is she a kook? Like, is that fair to say? Like, I mean, I think the reality will be is that she will prove herself to be more of a kook if she says shit like, there's no such thing as health. Then yeah. Like, this is not a serious candidate. And anyone that's arguing for her, I will not take seriously. Because, like, yeah, is Biden the ideal candidate? No. I don't. I would prefer a candidate that is, I mean, he's going to be 86. Well, you know what? Indiana Jones is coming out and Harrison Ford is going to be fucking like 82 or something.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not the same thing. But, if he's able to function and do things, despite what the right says, I just think it's hysterical too. If you're going to have this ageist attack against Biden, but then be completely quiet about Trump, who's literally like, what is he, like 70? How old is Trump now?
He's just like a year or two younger than Biden. I'm pretty sure.
maybe like 4 years younger or something.
You think? Trump is 76.
Okay, if he gets reelected, he'll be 78. I mean, it's like,
Yeah. I don't know. The age argument's not going to work. It just isn't. I would say that you would probably, I don't know. I just don't see what.
there's
Certainly-
no candidates on the Democratic. There's no legit candidate running.
Right, that's it.
Is not a candidate, and Robert Kennedy Jr. is a psychopath who literally hangs out with Steve Bannon. That is not a friend of the Democratic Party in any way whatsoever.
No. I'm glad Biden's running again. I hope he does do some major things in his next term, should he get one. And I hope he does. Maybe
Well,
not him.
That if he gets reelected, which I hope he does, but I also hope that that Dems gain another seat or two in the Senate.
Yeah.
Or don't lose any, at least. Don't lose any seats.
Well, they're probably going to lose West Virginia.
Yeah, I heard what's his face. The joke is that he's desperate. He's like, I think the problem with him is West Virginia is this insanely deep red state.
Yeah.
And what's his face is he's probably just views as like a weasel,
Yeah.
I mean, the
don't
problem
know.
is they'll just elect another right-wing psychopath. But I think the problem with Joe Manchin is he's that vote for judge.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really all he's good for, or letting something go through. But again, it's like he's this monkey wrench.
Well, the real thing
watch.
is if you had, there are other places you can get the senators. Like, why is there why is fucking Ron Johnson representing Wisconsin?
Yeah, exactly. Well, unfortunately, he's going to be around for another 5 more years. I mean, he just got reelected.
That's the thing. So, if you had beaten Ron Johnson, you wouldn't have to worry about fucking West Virginia.
Or even fucking what's her face either. That fucking the Hot Topic lady.
Kristen Sinema.
Yeah. That I don't understand the Ron Johnson thing. I don't get that. Sometimes I'm always I don't understand the elections. It's they vote for a Democratic senator, but they kept the Republican governor in Georgia. I'm just
right. None of that makes sense. If you ask them, they want to legalize marijuana. They want to keep abortion legal. They they have all these progressive things, and then they vote for the
guy
who's running against them. Yeah, it's remarkable.
And they don't even question them ever.
No,
it's a joke. They don't ever hold them to task.
It's really baffling.
It's wait, I'm the fucking I'm the corporate guy. Why would you vote? Because I hate gay people. Oh yeah, well that's what happens when you're a bigot. You get the shittiest people.
Mm-hmm.
So
and you deserve it.
Yeah, you reap what you sow. Yeah, except we're all paying for it.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, I heard that he is not very popular and that he could lose, but I don't think his election is till. Is it this upcoming election?
I think it is.
Oh, again, I think they just need to win one other seat.
Yeah,
and then Joe Manchin just goes off. Some generic Republican will take Joe Manchin's seat. You'll never hear from him ever again because it'll just be another right winger from a red state, unless he's caught with a boy or something. You'll never hear from them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless there's something disgusting, they do something something pedo.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. He'll start an all pedo jug band or something.
Why are you guys called the Wailing Namblers? What's that about?
Right.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad he finally announced.
Yeah, me too.
I think the Republicans are in turmoil. If Trump is the nominee, Trump has made himself even more insane. He cannot run as the 2016 Trump. The media
No.
cannot, and I'm not talking about Fox. And actually, the funny thing with the whole Dominion thing, oh, that's what's great too. With Tucker getting fired and everything, all of a sudden now Fox is filled. It's that liberal family that owns it. All of a sudden, Rupert Murdoch's a liberal. I think that's hysterical. And they're woke. They're woke now.
That's
Fox.
great.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're full on commies now. It is crazy.
Wow. Good for them.
But I mean, like, the networks will not be able to sell Trump as a normal candidate.
No. He is what he is. And he's also like, he's real toxic. I mean, I just can't see him winning too many states.
I think I think a lot of people are just tired of his shit. The joke is it would probably be the same thing again, where Biden would win by the same amount and it would be the same states. Maybe like, I don't know, I always think like North Carolina could flip a little bit.
Well, Biden could just as easily lose Arizona this time.
Yeah.
He could lose Georgia this time, but he could also win those states, and he could also win North Carolina. And there's, I don't know, you never want to take anything for granted, but I think the most effective argument against Trump, if I'm Biden, is like, you had your 4 years, you didn't do shit. You didn't do any of those things you said you were going to do.
Well, he will claim that the economy is good and the economy is bad now, or it's not doing what it's doing. And it's like, it's like a weird, it's like a trap argument. Because it's like, you could say like, well, you ran up the steam of Obama's success.
Right.
Like, Obama had 8 years where he built up the economy from the disaster that was George W. Bush, and you were given a gift by becoming president after. But then we saw what you did with COVID.
Right. And Biden had to clean up Trump's mess.
Yeah.
So.
And the Ukraine and and all this other stuff. It doesn't even, I think people are just tired of Trump. They don't want to see his fucking face.
Yeah.
Sick of him. He's grating. And the thing is, let's say he's the nominee. What's he going to talk about the entire time? He's just going to talk about
the fucking wall, and
he's going to talk about how the election was stolen from him.
Yeah. It will not be a compelling argument.
I will say, though, the funny thing that Trump has done, though, is set a trap for the Republicans because of the whole Social Security thing.
Oh, yeah.
They're like scared to even mention Social Security. Now they'll fuck with it. I saw Matt Gaetz talk about raising the age. That is, when you raise the age of Social Security, you are cutting Social Security.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's a cut. You're not taking away money, but you're also not giving money now.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like Biden's odds. Trump's got this is the next. I was trying to think of Trump's currently in the mix of a pretty nasty trial. This was the next thing we were going to talk about. He had his opening day of that defamation trial where E. Jean Carroll is suing him, and it does not sound like it's going super well for Trump.
Yeah, what's that about? This woman, this lawsuit's been going on for and again, it's like the same thing with the Stormy Daniels thing. These predate the him being president. It's like
she wrote a book where she said Trump raped me, and Trump.
She said she has material that with DNA on it.
And Trump came out and said, "I don't know her. I've never known her. She's a dog.
She's a dog. She's a two."
And he was president by the time all this was going on, and so she couldn't sue him. You can't sue the president. So she
force field.
She pursued the case after he left office, and now it's gone to trial. And a lot of people are saying this is a pretty good case. And so I don't know if it's money. He's not going to go to jail over this or anything. But if he loses, then this woman can say he raped me. And
former president and rapist Donald Trump.
And then people can
confirmed
say that.
Racist. What?
People can say that. A news reporter could say, Trump, who was found liable for rape, and like I mean,
Guilty
like
of rape, confirmed
they can say
rapist.
shit like that. So this is kind of like a tricky little thing, and I think she is suing him for money. I don't know how much. I mean, he could make that money back in an evening of fundraising, but the point is like this is a narrative setter. And then that Fannie Wilson said she's going to pursue a case like late summer.
Who is that?
That's the Georgia DA.
That's the one that. Okay, so this is not a rape thing. This is the one where he was like, "Can you find me 10,000
Yep.
more points?
And then
Give
apparently
me 10,000. Come
that
on,
Jack Smith thing has started up in earnest. But the big thing he's going through right now is the E. Jean Carroll site or suit, and from all accounts, it's going very poorly for him.
Which one's this? This is the one where he was indicted, right?
The rape defamation. No, this is the rape defamation one. The Alvin Bragg one is that I don't know when that goes to trial. He was indicted on all these felony counts, and that goes to trial, I think, in a month or so.
That one too. The funny thing about again, wasn't like Tucker saying Alan Bragg worked for George Soros and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like,
wow,
it's so funny. Like anyone, like go back real quick. That anyone who takes Tucker's place, I think they had what Brian Kill made fill in for him.
Yeah, I think so.
Like the go boy for
right,
the do boy for Fox.
Yeah.
he the Jet Fox jobber Brian Kill
right.
He like they're probably like lawyers just sitting there, like whoever's
I'll bet.
like people are like, oh, be a bigger psychopath that takes his place. I'm like, who would take, like, who can you see? It'll probably be like that guy who looks like Greg Brady. I forgot. That asshole. I could see him taking this place.
I could too.
But like, I just don't see that guy having the juice that Tucker had. I think Tucker came out at like the right time. He came in right after O'Reilly, and he was just able to like work in all that venom with COVID. And I think working with COVID and everything, and Ukraine, there was so many like big events that he could add hysteria to. And I think that like some of those have passed or kind of not. We're like either in the middle or we're at the tail end of them.
Yeah.
But like I said, I could just see them like with like a lawyer sitting there just being like,
right, with a little zap button, like a mute button.
Do not say this. They're like, there's like a list of words you cannot say because it's Dominion and any other lawsuit that they're getting.
Well, yeah, they're not done with those yet. So
so
this will be good. It is good to see Trump finally being held accountable. And I think defamation is a good place to start, because if he gets found guilty for defamation, then I'll bet you a lot of people start suing him.
But again, it's like, how is it? I mean, he'll run for president because he didn't give a fuck, and he'll use it as a way to pay his court cases, which I'm like, how's that even fucking legal? But does that give an opening to DeSantis?
I don't know. I mean, I think so. I think it does, but like, I'm not convinced DeSantis could survive a primary thing. I think you might see, if Trump goes out, you might see a Nikki Haley pop up, or you might, I don't know. I mean, I think that
Nikki Haley is the closest thing we have to Veep. I think it would be great. Be a disaster.
Anybody that, if it's not Trump, anybody they run against Biden has to be young.
Yeah.
So there's a contrast.
Yeah.
And
argument
has to appeal to like suburban women, and that's
but it's
difficult.
Like, okay, you got Biden. Let's say somehow something happens and this kook Nikki Haley somehow becomes the nominee, and she has to represent the party as a female, and the whole argument is on abortion, and it's like, wait, so you're telling women you're running president and you're the woman, and you're going to tell women they can't have right to their body autonomy?
That's why I still think Biden's going to be the favorite, but like you could see an instance where
I'm saying it creates a bizarreness if she became the nominee, because it's
sure,
Republicans are so extreme to the right. Like, let's say she ran 10 years ago or 15 years ago. She
Yeah.
could just claim like, I don't want late term abortions anymore. She could have said
Right.
like, I'm against if rape, incest, I'm not like, I will not stand in the how do I say this? She would not get in the way with that. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, you can make these claims, but now the Republicans in the past 5 years have just gotten so extremely
Well, they
right
can't.
and
Yeah.
so far to the extreme when it comes to anti-abortion that she couldn't do that.
No, they have to. They almost have to adopt that 6-week ban. Otherwise,
Yeah.
they won't get out of the Republican primary.
Yeah.
You know, so they have to be. Well, the other big thing they have to be is like super pro-gun. And
Yeah.
honestly, like a lot of people are sick of that shit. Like I still think gun rights is like a solid way to win Alabama and Arkansas or whatever. But like
Texas.
Yeah, right. But there's a lot, and look, all that shit
You
is
just plug Missouri.
all that shit is yuck. All that shit is accelerating. People will like guns even less next year, and even less the following year.
Wasn't there like some insane shooting the other day? I thought there was like some another one of those crazy like.
There's a DoorDash shooting or something.
Yeah, the DoorDash
Yeah.
one. The guy wasn't even charged.
Yeah.
Thankfully, this guy didn't get hurt.
Well,
yeah. So a DoorDash guy was going, I guess he went to the wrong house.
Yep.
And the guy came out and started shooting at him. He shot his car.
Yeah.
And the guy's not going to face any charges.
Well, younger people are real sick of this. They really are. I mean, younger people are very sick of this. You know, I mean, there are some pro-gun younger people, but like on average, they're just sort of done with this. You know, they live through a lot. They're forming their political opinions based on having to go through active shooter drills. They don't like it, you know. So that
my son does it. My son does it at his school.
Yeah.
You never does your daughter do them?
They do. They don't. I don't think they call them active shooter drills, but they do drills where it's like
on-time ducking.
Yeah, if you're in the bathroom and you get called outside of the classroom during this, you're supposed to like get in the stall and put your feet up and shit. It's just like really ghoulish, nightmarish
it's
stuff.
Disgusting. It's like such a fucked up way. Like we're gonna like fuck up this generation completely. The next like, 10 years of kids. If nothing's done about this, these people are gonna be like permanently damaged. That's not. Yeah. I love it. You get all these like psychopaths on the right talking about like, oh, they're trying to remove kids' genitalia and they're trying to do this, but they're like, well, one, none of this is happening. None of these psychotic things you're claiming. No one's forcing any kid to change.
No, there are no litter boxes.
There's no litter boxes in the school, no matter what Joe Rogan said.
Yep.
He faced a legal problem because of that. He got in huge trouble for that. None of that's happening. You know what is happening? School shootings.
Yeah, all the time.
Having to carry a clear backpack or to take active shooter drills. What do you think of that? George Soros. Like they would just, who knows what the fuck they would say, you know? It's like well, globalists are the reason. Wait, what, sir? What?
But you're right. And this is actually kind of a good transition to the next thing, that Zooey Zephyr woman out in Montana. The Republicans are laser focused on shit that doesn't at all bother young people. No young person is I shouldn't say no. Young people in general are perfectly fine with trans people. Honestly. I mean,
they have an issue with it. They don't think about it. They're like, whatever.
No, young people in general don't want guns. Don't want a ton of guns around. They want common sense gun legislation. I think it's a stretch to say they want to outlaw
young people,
guns.
how old are we talking here?
I'm talking pre-voting age. I'm talking kids that are like 13, maybe 12 through 18.
Okay.
Young, not old enough to vote. I'm talking about like, look,
teenagers. Basically.
Yeah, the near future is real progressive currently. You know, young people they want to learn about multiculturalism. They do.
Yeah.
In general, you know. And I think that's going to be a rude awakening for Republicans as they run, you know, like each year the electorate's going to get more and more progressive. I was saying that like a lot of people were saying today about how Disney needs to learn how to get along with DeSantis. And I think the complete opposite. I mean, it's like,
yeah, why are they? Get the fuck out of here.
why? Like
Yeah.
Disney is the future. The future is going to get more progressive. The future is going to get more gay.
It's like,
the
yeah,
going to
why are there more minorities in Marvel movies than there were 10 years ago? I
Right.
don't know, because that was 10 fucking years ago.
Because America is now more diverse.
Well, the funny thing is, though, I see all these fucking clowns who say this shit, and it's like, I don't know, maybe because Marvel's expanding its characters, and if you look at Marvel characters in the comics, they've been around since like the 70s and 80s. There's minority characters that didn't show up in the movies yet.
Yeah.
And now they're showing up in the movies, and they happen to be minority characters, or, you know, with more women or more whatever. And they act like it's this new thing. And I think it's hysterical.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, but that's true. Like, if Disney's like, look, we're going to be in business for 50 years. They're looking at that 13 through 18 age group to make their future moves. They're not looking at like 70-year-old Fox viewers.
That asshole who was like, I'm not going to Disney anymore because they got rid of the racial stereotype at the pirate ride.
Right. Nobody fucking cares, dude. Sit at home and watch Gutfeld or whatever. And, then,
dude, you're done, dude. Just, you know, they got your money.
Right. Nobody fucking cares about you.
Racist animation cell that you found.
You know why? Yeah, right. You know why you feel like the world is leaving you behind? Because the world is fucking leaving you behind, right? Like the kids that are going to go to Disney, they all have, you know what? They all have black friends. They all have. It's not like.
Or if they don't, they listen. They listen to music or media, or they like media that is produced or made by
created by black artists.
Yeah.
Their sports heroes are likely, you know, a diverse group. You know, I mean, like it's just changing, and Disney's betting on the future, not on the past. You know, what about the companies that sided with George Wallace? You know, like
the racist segregationists from the 60s.
Yeah, like what did they? How'd they come out? You know, so I don't know. It's just
it's a stupid argument.
It's
disingenuous. And like I said, again, going back to Tucker Gang 5, which was great, is that Tucker was probably the closest thing, which is why you said all the 4chan creeps, all the Nick Fuentes.
Yeah, so funny. So gratifying.
Those younger Nazi people, they won't have a mainstream voice anymore.
Yeah.
Tucker was probably one of the only people on Fox, excuse me, who probably appealed to any, like, you know, your Ouch Jones or whatever people.
Well, he gave him a veneer of respectability and hipness to some degree.
Yeah.
But anyway, the lead in there is supposed to be about this Zooey Zephyr, who is a trans woman politician in Montana. I was a little surprised to hear Montana had representative that was trans. You know, I mean, I hate to stereotype the whole state like that, but I guess one of the
Montana, just like most states in the country, have cities and
with colleges.
There are lots of
that.
Diversity and stuff like that. It's just, again, the way some political systems in certain states are designed from years of manipulation, decades of money being pumped into certain areas. They made these states into red states, but they have pockets of. I don't know where she represents.
Missoula, I think.
I don't know if that district veers to the left. I don't know what her politics are, but they're literally attacking this person because she's, like, what's bullshit do they have to they basically silenced her, right? Like, she can't say.
Yeah, that was it. She I think the sequence of events, and I could be wrong here, is she said they're doing an anti-trans bill, and she got up there and said, look, my constituents sent me here knowing that I'm trans, that, you know, and she said, this is what she said that got her in trouble. She said, a lot of trans people commit suicide because of stuff like this. So the next time you're at church, look down at your hands. There's going to be blood on them. And they censured her. They said she was out of line. And now they're saying that was so offensive to say that she can't speak for the rest of the year. I mean, it's straight out of like a sci-fi dystopian political now. It's really bizarre that they would say, this, I mean, like, especially considering the stuff these other people say, they just won't let her speak for a year. She's an elected official. Her area sent her there. And I think this is worse than the Tennessee 3, not to like have some sort of oppression Olympics here or anything.
It falls in line with just like the whole Republican House, majority House, using their power to silence a elected official who is either racially minority or LGBT, woman, it's the so she's gonna be part of that story.
Yeah.
Now why do you think it's worse than what happened in the Tennessee 3?
Well, because I think with the Tennessee 3, and again, that's kind of like, I probably shouldn't have said it that way because I don't want to turn this into like...
Okay, so the reasons why the reasons Republicans gave for the Tennessee 3, even though only 2 of them ended up facing, they both got back in, right? They just have to...
Yes, one never got kicked out, and the 2 that did get kicked out got back in.
But they have to have like special elections, but I have a feeling they're probably going to like clobber whoever runs.
Probably, yeah.
I
think it was worse
because they were trying to like put gun reform in, or like any mentioning of gun reform.
I guess I would say that like it was worse because like the Tennessee 3 were being rightfully confrontational. I 100% believe what they were doing is fine. I think they were right to do it. I think they're morally justified. And I think it was probably legally justified, or I think it followed the rules. But there was like an incident where they said, this was a protest on the court, on the floor of the House, or the Republicans had some sort of reason. And there's like, it was a bullshit reason, but it was a reason. With this Montana thing, this woman just like peacefully said something when it was her turn to speak, and they voted for her never to speak again.
And what was it on?
This was the trans woman in Montana. She was just speaking against an anti-trans bill.
I know. That's like insane. It's so disgusting. It's like, here's a person who's like, hey, I personally will be completely attacked by your insane your hatred of my kind for reasons I will never understand. That definitely cannot be some kind of sick fetish on your side in any way whatsoever. This personally attacks me. Oh yeah, shut up.
Well, that's why I think it was worse. And again, like that
is actually super fucked up.
I wouldn't say it that way because like I don't want to make it sound like the Republicans in Tennessee at all had a point. Like that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying like this is an acceleration of that type of... And
she's kind of like by herself too, right?
It's it. Yeah, I think she's probably like the lone Democrat in the whole state.
It's disgusting. I mean, so I know that she like there's been protesters there and all that. These fucking clowns, man, they never learn. Because the joke is we never would have heard of the name. I ain't gonna lie, I bad memory of the names of the people in Tennessee, but
Justin and Pearson were the 2. What? Yeah. Justin and Pearson were the 2 representatives.
They were given a national spotlight because of
they were at the White House talking with Biden.
Yeah. These are 2 state Congress people, like in the House of a state.
Right.
You never hear about these people.
Nah.
Most people don't even know that exists. They're when they find out, like, oh yeah, he's a senator. What, you mean like that senator? No, there's like 30 of them. What? Like they have no idea that the state senate.
Yeah.
Like there's a bunch of elected officials. Like they don't get it. They only know like the big elections. And the same thing with Montana. We never would have heard of this woman. Never would have heard about her. Would never would know she was trans. Would never know anything. The Republicans cannot. These fucking clowns that like in these state houses, they're either in a bubble. They don't. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck they're thinking. Like they're not.
The other thing I think that's worse about this one is in Tennessee. Tennessee's a reasonably small state. It's got some big cities. Got a lot of Democrats. There's a lot of fellow persons of color and allies that can kind of, you saw the protests outside of the Tennessee House. They were immense. They were really good. They were powerful. This woman in Montana, how is she going to fight this?
Well, there's been big protests there, haven't there?
Montana?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like, how many people are in Montana? I mean,
it's a pretty big state. It's still a lot of people that live there. It's not like
but like
Alaska
how many trans people? Like if you're a black person who's been targeted
I
racially,
think that this person is more isolated.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's what I'm trying to say.
And an easier target for bullying. And
It's
it's
just
important
sick.
it's disgusting. And again, it's an attack on democracy. Here's a person who was elected by her constituents.
Elected, yeah.
Thousands of people voted for thousands upon thousands of people, and they will not have any voice because the bigots, homophobes, transphobes, whatever, shitheads, shitbags, they're from Montana, silence this person. And like you said, for really no legitimate reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you know that horrible thing you're gonna put through that like literally wants where it's like we want to kill you? Yeah, I'm not for that. Shut up.
It's awful. It is gut wrenching. I mean,
it's indefensible.
Yeah, I don't.
Like the bill they're literally voting for is an attack on this person's well-being.
Yeah,
and this person's speaking out. Like, how could you say that this is a beneficial bill for anyone? You know what I mean?
What? Yeah. What problem does it fix? How does it make anyone's life better? How does it?
It's like I had this another jackass, leave some comment on my Instagram. This was someone else. They try to sound like they're like they're trying to be like sound like they're being well-meaning, and I can never tell with these people. There's always something like off about it. Like,
yeah,
we need to come together, not be so divisive. And then like, okay, either you're an idiot,
right?
Like you can. What is she supposed to do? How's she supposed to come together with people that literally want her to be exterminated?
Yeah,
it goes up to them. There's no meeting at the middle.
No.
Hi, we don't want you to exist. I want to exist. Why can't we all get along?
Yeah.
Like, what? That's the stupidest. No, we can't have a conversation.
There's no middle ground.
Argument. Yeah. We can't come together. Can't meet in the middle. Well, can I just kill you a little bit?
Right.
No, I don't want you to do that. Why are you so divisive?
Right. Yeah.
That's the problem. It's like so stupid. Like as if the power structure is equal.
Yeah. I think like that's the thing is, and this I guess maybe this is I keep trying to like think of a good way to say it. The Tennessee 3 thing made me angry, but I had a good feeling that they were going to start fighting back and win and pick up some meaningful victories. But the Montana thing makes me sad, and I'm far less hopeful about that. You know what I mean? I guess
any updates on that. Let me look it up real quick.
Well, she released a statement, I don't know, like late afternoon, where she gave
What's her name? Zoe?
Yeah, but it's 2 O's. ZOO. That's why I wondered if it was maybe Zooey. But I think it's Zoe.
Yeah, it's like Zoe Deschanel.
Yeah, right.
This was from 9 hours ago. As I left the House chambers, I pressed my light to speak, a reminder that the legislators were moving 11,000 Montanans from discussion on every bill going forward. I will always stand on behalf of my constituents, my community, and democracy itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
It really is. It's disgusting. And these people are going to have so few consequences. You know, the people that did this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how, because what are you going to, people are going to like refuse to visit Montana? Like, fucking cares, you know? What, I mean, are there like
there's mountains in other states you can go see.
I mean, like people
Colorado has
visit
tons of them.
Montana and everything, but like, I just don't see. I don't know. I don't know.
This is from Last Word, Ali Veshi from
Yeah.
1 minute ago. Reports on the vote Wednesday by Montana House Republicans to ban Democratic State Rep Zooey Zephyr, who is trans, after she spoke out against anti-trans legislation, and her supporters came to the state house to demonstrate on her behalf. So there were people there, protests and stuff. But like I said, I just think that she's going to need more outside help probably. But
Yeah,
it just sucks, man. It's such a shitty, like, these people are shit.
it is. It's like,
Son of Montana's Republican governor speaks out against the banning of Rep Zooey Zephyr. See, there you go. You're talking about younger people.
yeah, that's
Here's
it.
The governor, I'm assuming, is a Republican. Yeah, Republican governor.
Yeah, but his son, I think, is gay.
Okay, whatever. There's people.
His son, though,
there. It's like these jackasses, and they're gonna be like, it's like you're making gay people. We're less gay people when I was younger.
Right.
No, they were gay.
Yeah.
They just did it like
They're in the closet
in the middle of the night, like they did. They did it at truck stops in the middle of the night. They didn't they just weren't allowed to be out and about. Why all of a sudden they made gay marriage legal? All of a sudden now there's so many gay people.
Right.
You're making the people gay. It's like, no, dumbass.
I don't want my frogs gay.
They made the frogs gay. It's like, no, they were always here. It's like I love it too. It's like again, going kind of similar like autism with the whole anti-vaxxers. The whole argument of anti-vaxxers happened to be around the same time. Doctors, psychologists, stuff like that were able to identify the symptoms and label things autisms. So as they were making these false claims saying, like, look, the vaccines are causing, there were no autistic kids. No, they were always there. That quiet kid in the corner. They were just able to properly diagnose that person. They do this shit all the fucking time. I love it. It's like, the son, the gay son of the governor, who probably 15 years ago would not be known as the gay governor. He'd just be the son of the governor.
Right. Who never married.
That surely straight boy, little line loafers, but
well,
why every right-wing voter is like, what the hell? Hey, brother.
Well, it is true though with the younger people. I read an article where the governor's son months ago went to him and said, "Look, you can't vote for A, B, and C because it's going to hurt me and the people I love." The governor did it anyway. They
don't give a fuck. They don't care. Some people are just bastards. So like I said, that myth that we were sold decades ago about like, oh, if the Republican gets they come down with this, or their kid gets this, and if their kid is gay, then they'll be good because then it'll change. No. No, they don't give a fucking shit.
Not anymore.
They don't care.
They're afraid of getting primaried.
It's never been like that. Look, again, Dick Cheney's the best example.
That's true.
Ran on anti-gay. It's 2004. The agenda of the Republican Party was anti-gay marriage. And there was Dick Cheney's daughter, who was in a relationship with another one for years. And she's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to be collecting a ton of Halliburton money. I'm gonna be rich. Maybe when the Democrat comes in, they'll legalize it, and I'll benefit from that. Win-win.
Right.
I can't have it too.
I'll vote for my dad, but I'm not going hunting with him.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have two fun ones to end.
So much fun.
The right wing. Okay, so in the midst of the Bud Light boycott, company, and you know more about this than I do. Some company was going to make right wing beer.
It was like Ultra Maga Dad or Ultra Right Dad beer.
Magalobe.
Yeah, Magalobe, and it was Schlitz. Shits. Chuds. The beer was called Chuds. And now, so there was this stupid ad. The guy comes out, he hits the Bud Light with a bat, and he's like, we're Americans. We don't like change or something. I don't know.
Right.
Like, some dumb shit. And morons paid for it. He claimed he had a brewery that was going to make it.
Yeah.
They brewery or whoever was going to brew it for him caught on about it and was like, wait, what?
Right.
No, we're not making this shit. That's
Yeah.
it. It was like, and the joke was, people were like, are all those people gonna get refunded that paid $30 for the 6-pack of beer?
No.
Yo, that's
No, that
why
money's
it's called
going.
a grift. Sorry, what is he gonna do? He's gonna come out and be like, listen, what woke mob has spoken. I'm sorry, dude. But what about the money? Look,
Yeah.
tradesperson.
Right.
Look over there, tradesperson.
It's a gay frog.
It's Dylan Mulvaney. He's got your Bud Light. Now he's got. Sorry, I was gonna get the beer out for you guys, the Ultra Magadad beer, but we were infiltrated by an army of Dylan Mulvaneys, and they took the beer.
The woke mob.
The woke mob came into the factory, took the beer.
Mhm.
We fought hard, and we fought against them.
Right.
They're like, "Oh man, that's tough, brother.
It's a tough break.
That's tough."
Wow.
So, we used all the funds that you guys get. You helped us fight this battle. But you know what? The fight goes on.
It was too.
Hey, you didn't have that car
Right.
last week. Why do you keep picking your teeth
Yeah.
with a toothpick?
Solid gold toothpick.
Why are you wearing 3 Rolex watches?
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad they got grifted, and I'm glad they don't have any beer, and I'm glad that they're sad.
I just love though that the company's like that was supposed to like produce it or whatever is like, wait, what? No,
Nah, hard
we're
pass.
we're not involved with this bullshit.
Don't drag us into your bullshit.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Like, who knows what their politics are, whatever.
Yeah.
But they're just like,
We're like, we want to make beer, which we want everyone to enjoy.
yeah, like
We don't want to reduce our market share.
some Ultra Magadad only. Even though they could probably be like, well, we can make less beer. And
Yeah.
make more off of it. Like, if you have an audience that's willing to pay $30 as opposed to $6, you can lose half
It's
of your
true.
customers and actually make more money.
Yeah. Right.
Same product, just with a $24 upcharge.
I'm just gonna start charging $500 to mow a lawn. That way I'll only have to mow a few.
Exactly. That's why you raise rates. And you're like, why would I lower my prices? That's more work.
Oh man.
So funny. Real quick too.
Yeah.
Because the whole Bud Light thing again.
Right.
People got fired from Bud Light, which I think is bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, it's so stupid. Like, the people who like coordinated the thing with Dylan Mulvaney like don't work there anymore, and it's like, it's just dumb. It's like, why do you fall for this shit? Like, why are you feeding into the joke too? Though supposedly Republican, especially like politicians, that started letting up a bit because they realized that like Anheuser-Busch is a huge donor to the Republican Party.
Right. Yeah, that kind of like went sideways on them. I don't know. I don't know enough. I did not follow the part about Budweiser firing these 2 people, but my guess is that there might have been some other thing. Like, look, if you ran a ad campaign that got like a little sideways, even if you were kind of right to do so, and you didn't like clear it with supervisors, sometimes you can get nailed for that. You know what I mean? Like, they're still at the end of the day a big company. They want people to avoid shit like this. Ultimately, if they had to do it again, they probably wouldn't have wanted to do it because it's bad for business. Like,
well, it's just whoever did it just forgot that they live in this world,
right?
And realized like, even because the joke is the right makes you think that Bud Light put out that every 6-pack, 24-pack of beer that is going to be at Walmart, any supermarket, whatever, the bar, at Applebee's, whatever, that you're going to get a can and it's going to have Dylan Mulvaney's face on it. And that is like that
was just not the case.
The truth at all. They literally made it was like a one-off ad market, like a thing they did with her on TikTok or something. They made one can. It's like a mock-up.
Yeah.
It's a complete. It's so stupid. It's beyond stupid. But here's a funny thing. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I saw a thing on Twitter. I don't know if I sent it to you or not, but she ended up like she has like a podcast or whatever.
Oh, I did
She
hear about
said
this.
all
Yeah.
this insane shit about Dylan Mulvaney, like just literally accusing her of being like a pedophile, all this like crazy shit. And I guess she pulled it down or something, which is probably like this is great because what's going on here is this is like the Dominion effect and the Trump effect, where a lot of these clowns are going to have to watch themselves. Probably,
and they're not at all used
forever?
to doing that.
What?
And they're not at all used to doing
they're
that.
They're not at all not anymore. Maybe like 5 years ago, they would be used to having to like tone it back a bit.
Right.
Now they feel like they could say anything. And then again, this isn't about free speech. Again, I had these jackasses, had one jackass leave a comment on my Tucker thing about like free speech. And I'm like, all right, first of all, and I'm like, I'm not even gonna argue with this person because it's like I'm not going to come back and say free speech doesn't mean freedom from consequences. They don't give a fuck. They don't care if I said that. It's 100% true though. You have free speech, but you're not free to consequences. Like if I say the wrong thing and someone shoots me, they might go to jail, but I'm still dead.
Right. Freedom of speech is important, but freedom of speech is like, there's all those are bullshit arguments.
But I love the free speech people. They always seem to only want free speech when it comes to attacking minorities. Like, look at the Zooey Zephyr thing.
Right.
That doesn't seem like free speech, and she's an elected official. That's super fucked up. But again, when you think of Tucker Carlson, do you think of free speech, or do you think of like highly paid propagandists on one of the biggest multi-conglomerate, whatever corporation channel, right-wing news station that racks in like God knows how much a year? Like that's not free speech.
No.
Free speech. Tucker Carlson's not on the corner. He's not showing up at a school board meeting. He's not showing up. He like he's paid 20. It's not free speech. He charges $20 million a year.
Right. Oh, Jesus.
I can't stand those people. It's so stupid. It's such a dumb argument.
It is.
And they're the first people to silence people. All right, what's the last? Oh God, this story.
All right, so this guy,
I can't even. I want to find the video. I gotta find the video.
As you're doing that, I'll give a brief background. His real name is Nicholas Alaverdian.
What's his fake name?
His fake name currently is Arthur Knight.
Okay, that'll be easier to look up.
Yeah. He's also known as Nicholas Rossi, Rossi, which is how I think I found him.
So he literally looks like a grown-up Cartman.
He does.
He looks like if South Park was doing an episode 20 years in the future or whatever, and you have Bill Cartman and he's up to some kind of scheme.
Yeah.
Like he literally looks like that. It's hysterical.
So he is 35 years old. He apparently raped someone.
How long ago?
In the United States. Okay, so let's see. In the United States, he was a legislative page in the Rhode Island House of Representatives. And then let's see, sex offender conviction was in 2012 or so. Anyway, at some point, then he stopped registering as a sex offender, and he was getting in all trouble for that. And then he faked his own death. He said he had like non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. He gave reporters a whole bunch of kind of breadcrumbs, and then he just sort of disappeared and through, some various means faked his own death. And then he showed up in Scotland a few years later, and they found out it was him because he had COVID. And while he was unconscious, they removed his shirt, and he has some real distinctive tattoos on his body. I think a Cleveland Browns logo and a few other things. And when he woke up and Interpol was saying his claim was that while he was unconscious in the hospital, someone drew those tattoos on him to frame him.
Yeah, it's fucking Face Off. Come on.
Yeah, it's a really bizarre.
I found the video.
Okay, yeah. So the
So
video's
again,
great.
just first, and he's wearing an oxygen mask. Is he claiming he's sick or something? Oh, it's
Yes,
COVID, right?
he's claiming it's post-COVID, long COVID or something to that effect.
What party was he part of?
That's a good question.
I don't want to make assumptions, but
yeah, right. Faked his own death in 2020.
What a cartoon.
Yeah, so okay, let me see if I can find
like this image I have, like I almost like of course you want to use like Tucker for the artwork,
right.
Image, but I almost like want to use this guy. Like it's just
it's a great image.
It's bizarre. It's so fake.
Yeah, it really is. Let me see I don't know if he was Republican or Democrat, or well, he was a page. I mean,
Or page is usually specific to like a politician.
He looks like it was a Republican. Let me see.
I demand consistency. So
yeah, I think he was a Republican. It's so hard to tell. Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, all right. Yes.
Let me hold on. Get the sound up. So I'm assuming that's his wife or something.
Yeah, I guess he got married while in Scotland, and a woman, I think it was Dateline, for the US show Dateline, interviewed him, and it was a great interview.
And I guess he claims he's disabled or something like that.
Yeah.
Here we go.
We were once a normal family, but thanks to the media, our lives have been interrupted. And we'd like privacy, and I would like to go back to being a normal husband. But I can't, because I can't breathe. I can't walk. People say that's not. Let me try to stand up. Let me try to stand up. Exactly.
What do you say to someone who believes that you are Nicholas Oliverdi? What do you say to people who say these are crocodile tears? He's putting on a show. This is all an act. Oh, no.
That's the right logo.
Joe.
I love it.
Yeah. Falls down. So bad. It's like those anti-vaxxer videos where people they have damage and they're like, it looks like they're just jacking off in a pillow.
There's so much to like about the video. First of all, he's gone like he has these Harry Potter glasses on. He does look like Cartman. He's got like
he looks like a younger version. Do you remember the uncle who okay, so there's this older actor, I think he died years ago, but he in Harry Potter, when he lives under the stairs, his uncle who like tries to always stop the owl from coming in the house or whatever. It's played by a famous British actor, and he looks just like that guy.
Yeah.
And younger, like as a weird comedic character. Wait, hold on. Let me see if I can find the part where you get.
Let's say that's not. Let me try to stand up. Let me try to stand up.
I wish we had video.
What do you say to
flops down?
Oh my god!
It's like she pushes him down too. It's like, come on! It's like this is like I can't believe this is real life.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that like the evidence. I mean, I guess his fingerprints match the guy, and like
that's a never pew.
That's a right low blow.
Cheerio.
It was just something. I mean, he
all say. Like what?
The first thing I thought was that, like, of that, because it was like a British talk show, that little bear or wolf or whatever it is, we're just innocent men. Like we're just
innocent men. And then the girl just going
yeah.
The camera, the fucking puppet just like making a weird face.
Yeah.
Dude, everything about that video, like, it looks like a skit
It
from like
does.
Mad TV from like 20 years ago.
It looks like a bad skit, like it's the first season of The State. Like there's
Right, like they don't got everything together yet. It's
right, they're getting
almost
there. It's got
There's
potential.
some yucks. There's some fun. Mr. Show season 1. Like we see the bones are there.
Yeah,
If you give this guy some time, he's gonna come out with much funnier shit.
it's got legs.
Got legs. This is like so fucking. I wish like this. We only do audio, but this is the one thing I would just.
if it only weren't if he only weren't like accused of such a horrific crime, it would be perfect.
Yeah,
I mean, like
just ignore the fact that this guy is like wanted for rape.
if this was like real estate fraud or something, it'd be so funny. But like, okay,
I don't know. The fact that he's wanted for something heinous and he's doing this is still somewhat funny.
It's still funny.
What?
It's still funny. Don't get me wrong, but like it does.
Like
That's the
told you,
one.
it's like that episode with Guar and the what's that guy's name? El Duce, the mentor.
Oh yeah.
When he's like, yeah, we may be intergalactical or whatever, but you're into rape, and that's wrong. This guy, this is like just visually, this guy is so fucking funny.
Yeah,
he looks like it's such a put on.
He's so floppy, and he's so British. Like he's so fake British. Like I expected to see him like in between questions, like pouring beans on toast or something. Like
yeah, he has a plate behind him with like a print of the Queen on it.
Yeah, I mean it's just like even his name, like Arthur Knight, like.
What did you say the other name? Scony McTea Time?
Sconesy McTea Time. Like everything is just so contrived. This reminds me
Buckingham Palace.
Yeah. This reminds me of like if an 8-year-old were to come up with a plan. Like this would be the plan. Like
well, he got someone to help him, that woman. It's so fucking
yeah.
I gotta see if I can find that picture. Is it with him with like where he's walking, but he's like in a rascal or something?
Yeah. I've seen more photos of him and it looks bad. I mean,
the image of him falling. Right?
Yeah.
Because again, we know he's fucking faking it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean there's even been like linguistic experts that are like, yeah, that's not a right accent. And
so how long ago was this?
I'm like, I guess he was arrested in 2008. All right, so he was in foster care as a kid, and I guess he was abused as a kid, which is that's also awful. Very sad.
Well, that's not very funny.
No. In 2008, while he was at a community college in Ohio, figures, he basically sexually assaulted a woman.
I'm not laughing at that.
And then he, I guess, was required to register as a sex offender, and then he tried to sue the college and the woman who accused him of rape. And then a year or two later, he was accused and convicted of domestic assault. And then there was like an additional sexual assault investigation in 2017. So he's had like a series of them. But then in 2020, he faked his death. And then he disappeared for a while. But in 2021, he was arrested in the hospital after having been unconscious for COVID. So he had probably like 10 years of really shitty behavior in the US between 2010 and 2020, roughly, and then faked his own death and showed up again in Scotland a year later.
Somebody has a gif from 30 Rock where Paul Rubin played this performance is giving me HRH Prince Garot from 30 Rock. I guess that was like a character who was like so severely inbred, like a tiny little arm. And How familiar with South Park?
What? How familiar?
How familiar are you?
I watched the first like 6 or 7 seasons, but not
Okay,
much after.
I don't know. It's like a blur to me when certain episodes. Do you remember like an episode where they're all about to have KFC and Cartman sneaks into the room and eats all the chicken skin?
I don't remember that.
It's so gross. They show him, he's like, it's like sliding, taking all the fried chicken skin off the chicken and eating it.
Yuck.
That guy. I was gonna make that reference to say he's stealing all the chicken.
He does look real gloppy. He looks oily, like
It's just like we need you to look like you're a sickly British person. All right, I'll stop at Party City first, and then I'll come back. Look at his outfit. Like, come on.
It does. It looks like kind of a British schoolboy. He's got like a pin, like a crest, a family
What
crest.
show is he on?
I think it's Dateline.
I can't, like, this guy has to be fucked. Come on. Like, no one's gonna, like, believe this shit.
Yeah. I think he's still over there. I guess he's under investigation for a rape that occurred in England too.
No, well, then I guess he's gonna have to turn back into Bobby Budweiser.
You gotta stop raping people, man. Like, Jesus. I mean,
Frankie Applebee's. Well, I never said I was a British.
Yeah, right.
And I didn't believe any of that COVID shit. I didn't wear.
My name is Tex S. Roadhouse.
The name is Chill. No, he wouldn't do that. That'd be ethnic.
Yeah.
It'd be Apple.
Yeah, Apple.
Applebee's.
Right.
TGIF.
Well, that's the this guy's gonna get extradited soon. If it weren't for the Tucker thing, this would have been the perfect cover because it's a great image.
I still think it is the perfect cover. It's too fucking funny. Like the Tucker thing. You know what? I could maybe have both of them on there.
Yeah.
Why can't I have both Kim Tucker and this guy? They can share.
There you go.
They're part of the same weird world.
Yes, they are.
I don't know what this guy's politics are. Oh my god, the video I'm getting.
So funny.
Have it like playing on the background silent. And the part where he just gets up in his arms, he's like, whoa!
Exactly. Like he's proving his point so violently.
He's a regular Chevy Chase. Real
gift for physical comedy.
Oh my god.
Oh wow. All right.
Dude, that is still possibly one of the funniest things I've seen.
It's a great one.
What a great way to go out. Look at that.
Yes.
We came in with the bang. We got, what do we got? We got Tucker fired.
Yep. Bam.
Ron DeSantis imploding even more.
Bam.
Arthur Knight existing. The existence of Arthur Knight.
Yes. The Dark Knight returns.
Dork Knight.
Dork Knight. That's good.
Like he literally sounds like adult Cartman too. Like
he does,
Cartman trying to put on like a British effect to his voice.
Mom.
Mumsy. It was weird when he said, "Respect my authority."
Right, that was the clincher. That was
yeah. You will respect my authority.
Oh wow.
All right. Well, you know what? That was a good episode.
Yeah.
251. Was it 251?
251. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Starting the next half century out good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell I just said.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, on that note, I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
And I'm Arthur Knight. You still gone about
that?
Thank you for listening to You Still Gone On About That. Please like, comment, share, and if you haven't done already, please follow us on Instagram, YSGOAT, Facebook, YSGOAT, and Twitter, YSGOAT. Thank you, and have a great day.